Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here for another episode of our Patreon game called The Rise, where everyone here is a member of our Patreon. So if you guys like that shit and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is in that link down below. Join us over on Patreon, get all kinds of behind-the-scenes exclusives, our after shows, all kinds of cool artwork, and sometimes my notes. Maybe more stuff to come, like a new podcast. That being said, as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes on this show. One, when that bar fills, I get to do what the hell I want to these wonderful players that are here before you. And two, every single dollar that goes into there goes back to the channel to help us do all kinds of cool shit, like get new art, pay for editors, all kinds of fun things like that. I think that's it. I'm going to turn things over to me to read the recap. Previously on The Rise. A private audience between Corax and Galvant revealed that the latter was a member of a heretical cult known as the Adherents, who worshipped the old gods and wished to usher in their return. Corax presented his discovery to Seydlitz and Mina, explaining that Galvant had offered to aid in the protection of the child as long as they agreed to help him with a small task. That task? Stop a group of slavers sent by the Castmander Slave Company on behalf of the Dragon Nulumbriel. No easy feat, to say the least. As we left off last episode, we start this one. We see Corax shaking Mina awake. Corax, it has been 3 days since Mina has fallen asleep. It has been a weird time over the last 3 days. He has not changed. He has not grown sallow. He doesn't look like he's ill. He just has been in a very deep sleep for 3 days. I believe you would have attempted to wake him all 3 of those days, but to no avail. However, this time, there is slightly more anxiety or excitement or panic in your voice as the time has come. The slave caravan has arrived in the town, and you, of all people, need his help to stave them off. So, I turn the scene to you.
This time when Corax goes to wake Mina, I think he would have grabbed his sword and his shield and pressed it into his chest and shaking him with the parents, shouting, "Mina, we need you now. I can't use these, only you can." And he just shakes him harder and harder to try and get him awake.
Mina, this is what you wake up to, right? That like, you know that nap you didn't intend to take and you wake up and you're like, what year is it? That kind of situation. You're very tired, bleary-eyed, the sun's beaming through the window. Oh, well, the lights are beaming through the window. The lights that are in this place are beaming through. It is perpetual night here, so it's hard to tell what time of day it is. But to you, it's morning the next day from whence you fell asleep. The concept of time doesn't really traverse well in dreams, and so it seems as though he's very excited to wake you up the following morning, unknown that it has been 3 days. So, Mina, how do you respond to this this violent wake-up?
Mina will just force him away and just say, "It's only been one night. They're not meant to be here for a few days."
It's been a few days. And you need to get ready. They're here. They're outside.
No,
they're about to arrive.
I can't have slept. It can't be a few days. I just went to sleep, had the weirdest dream, and woke up with you handing me my sword. Don't you even remember I use a spear?
It's all the same. It's got a pointy bit, and you point it into people. You can use this better than I can.
Trust me, when you get stabbed with it, you know the difference.
Do I really? They both hurt, right?
I mean, do you want them to try it out?
No, not particularly, but there's some people who you can try it out on.
Where's the old man? Let's go.
Corax looks back.
Yes,
I'm right here. I'm right here. Stop faffing about, you two. Mina, listen to Corax. He is right. It's been 3 days so far. And hand me that sword. You don't need this blasted thing. And I handed him his actual spear.
No one knows where Corax got the sword from. He just has it.
Found it in the room.
Just found it. In the sword, it's the umbrella stand, but it's just swords. Just shink.
But they're here. We need you need to get up now.
Is Aurora safe?
Assuming so.
Corax?
Are they, GM Mike?
I don't know. Are they? Where did you guys leave them? Have you protected them in any capacity, or are they just wandering about the town with a group of slavers? You tell me. I don't run the show. They're your
crap.
NPCs.
They're not my NPCs. They mean as NPCs.
It's fair.
So, when did you last check on them? It has been 3 days. Have you been keeping up with them?
I don't think Corax would have bothered much with them. To be honest, he's got Mina falling asleep and having an exceptionally long nap. And he's got a big pile of books in Galvin's house. And someone who does magic that he can try and learn from. So he wouldn't have spent too much time worrying about them other than assuming that he's going to see them at mealtime.
Okay. Seydlitz, have you been checking in on them?
Seeing him here and there. He's just assuming they're in the building somewhere.
Okay. So, yeah, neither of you actually genuinely know whether or not they are good.
Mina will look at their sort of like blank stairs and just immediately push past them and go to their room and knock on the door.
There is no response to the knock.
And he'll try the handle.
The handle opens, and as you open the door, it looks slept in, lived in. There is no one here.
Okay. Mina will race downstairs.
Okay. Since my players here at the table love to add their own corruption bars, let's knock out the first one. As you race downstairs, Mina, you see the backside of Dreschen, who is pounding on the armored back of a slaver, who has both of his arms in front of him. You can't see what he's carrying, but Dreschen is doing his damnedest, his elderly damnedest, to prevent this slaver from taking whatever he is taking. You can also hear cries out in the courtyard in front of the inn, that open like town center space. You're not sure who that is, but you know that the slavers are here to take exactly what they're here to take. That's what you see. You see him pounding on the back of this guy. No, no, please, no! As he's trying his hardest to make that stop happening.
Mina will race towards them and say, Dreschen, get out of the way. And say, you, stop that. Drop it.
Do you say it with such casual nature?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Touch of bravado, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Dreschen is well aware of your voice. He hears you, and he immediately stops and like moves to like look at you. Are you spear in hand? Or how do you look?
Yeah, I would have grabbed I had the spear and shield forced on me, so I had those.
Okay, fantastic. You know what? Roll me some kind of intelligence check for like a persuasion. Do you have any skills that would help with that, or an intimidation kind of thing? Let's take a look. Let's see what Mina has here.
I have a negative in social interactions.
Ooh, perfect. Yeah. The sword-wielding tailor is not the most, or sorry, the spear-wielding tailor is not the most threatening of caricatures. Roll me an intelligence-based, and I'll use your social interactions as a minus, and you can roll it against a 3. Difficulty's 3. So you'll have a minus to that, and difficulty 3.
I am going to spend an XP.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I did not like that.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's a bad roll to start the game. Yikes, is what I have to say about that. Okay, still a failure. So I think, how close do you get to this guy as you say, stop that?
I would get at least to where Dreschen was, trying to
so fairly close to
shield
him.
Dreschen. Yeah.
Okay. So I will say, you come up, replace Dreschen almost, right? You got shield in one hand, spear held in the other hand, and this guy, you see, like, he is wearing not quite as much armor as the Reconciliators, but he definitely has like a mix of metal and leather armor. They are wearing like a strange helmet kind of situation, like a helm kind of thing. He removes one hand from whatever he's carrying, and he just swings it with like his gauntleted hand back at you. It says, "Get out of here!" and goes to like bash you back off of him. And assuming you're still the old man, right? So you can roll me a might defense difficulty 3. Oof. So he bashes you backwards, and you're going to take 2 points of might damage as his gauntleted fist just clocks you in the side of your still sleepy face, kind of staggering you back a little bit. And he continues to walk out the door. Once he's like clear of the door and your head stops ringing, you can see that there is a large cage that is like on like a imagine a wagon that like instead of a covered wagon, it's just a large cage like you'd put like tigers in the circus in, but it's people, and there are 2 other slavers that are throwing people in the cages. You see that Sephany is already in it, and you see that there is this. He's not larger, but you can tell his armor is definitely like different than the rest of them, and you can see, you can see he has a whip out, and it's like not at his belt; it's completely unfurled, and this whip is like black, like dark black, and you can see there's like little like weird barbs on it, and you see that over his head is a very, very faint nimbus.
Mina will just call out behind him, Korax, Seydlitz, we're on. And he will step out into the street and try to get their attention.
Korax, Seydlitz, you hear, we're on. You hear like a puh, like a hit, and then you hear, we're on, from downstairs. Definitely Mina's voice. What are the 2 of you doing?
Does the window from the room I've seen look out over the front?
I think this is 1 story, I want to say. I don't remember if I said 2 stories, but...
you said down the stairs just now.
You're right, I did say down the stairs. Sometimes I just say words. All inns in my head are 2 stories. The window looks over the courtyard. Why not?
I'm going to tear off the shades and bust open the window and take a look.
Okay, do you bust open the window, or do you just open it?
Casually open it.
Okay. You can bust it down. I just want to be sure that you're destroying property. I
don't feel like the dramatic entrance today.
Yeah. So you throw back the wooden not curtains, but whatever the hell that word is, and you open this window. Are you drawing your crossbow, or are you just looking to see what's happening?
Both.
Okay. So crossbow at the ready. You see exactly what I just painted that picture for, Mina. You see the courtyard, a large cage. People are in it. You can make out Sephany. You can make out the guy. You also see a very faint nimbus floating above his head. And you see from your angle someone is leaving the inn, and they are carrying the baby.
I'm going to load a bolt and fire the guy holding the baby.
Okay. I am going to
aim kind of center mass-ish.
I am going to be a benevolent GM for this moment right now, and then never again. If you kill and or knock this guy down, he is holding a baby. Like a month-old baby. Not even. Like a several-week-old baby. So, just so you know.
So you're just telling me not to, right?
I'm just telling you that you might make this adult drop a baby. That's on you. If you still do it, that's entirely on you. But Seydlitz would know that he could cause this person to drop a baby. So what happens here is entirely on you.
I'm going to take this shot while yelling, Mina, catch.
Okay. All right. Roll me a. So,
I'm-
Mina, you hear this as you hear the twang of a crossbow string launch forward. And Seydlitz, you can roll me an attack, a bow attack against a level 3. I'm sorry, I lied. Against level 4.
Oh, give me a sec. Cancel that then.
God, I hope you get a nat 1.
Nope.
Okay.
No nat 1.
So you hear catch. You hear Mina catch, and then you hear twang, and then the bolt whizzes past. Where were you aiming for, Seydlitz?
Towards his legs.
Okay.
A little bit to the front.
You see it like whiz past his like right hip and stick right into the ground. Korax, what are you doing?
Korax is running down the stairs.
Yep.
He's not scared like Seydlitz to hide in the back. He's going to run down.
Says the guy with a chef's knife.
That's all you need. And he's going to run down. And he's looking for Stephanie. Is she in the dining hall or the hall?
She is not. Where do you just head to the main hall? Like
He's
the main
running
like
down-
eatery?
Yeah, he's running down after Mina, where Mina pushed or Dresden moved to the side. He's looking for Stephanie.
Okay.
around?
You don't see her immediately. I will let you make a intelligence difficulty 3 perception kind of check.
Intelligence.
Okay. So
20.
first of all, you see you like quickly glance around. You see right past Mina, right past the guy holding what you can presume to be a child, and you see the cage, and in it you see Stephanie. You also see, probably because you've been around town, you see 2 other people that you don't know who they are. You've seen them in the town. You also see that there are several people in there that you've never seen before. You assume this caravan has come from somewhere else and is kind of returning. Your best guess is it's probably been a while because the majority of the people that are in there look a little defeated, like they've lost the will to be like, let us out, right? You know, they're not doing that whole thing. However, I will say you do see one person in there who doesn't really fit the bill of everyone else. They're dressed in slightly nicer clothes, not to say finery, but like clothes befitting like you guys. So like not like threadbare, but it's also not great. And they're standing like almost defiantly in the cage, kind of like leaned up against a corner. They're not like hoveled down in the corner, sweating it. But you see that. As far as a major effect, what would you like to do as a major effect here?
The sword that I get from that I was trying to give to Mina, that
Yeah.
Korax would have that sword rather than not having a sword.
Yeah, I will absolutely let you have that. The sword is a medium weapon, so it does 4 points of damage, I think. So you can take that. It's a might with a damage of 4.
He's not
And
gonna use
since you just looked around, I will afford you another action with that 20 as well. Like, what would you like? Would you like to continue past Mina?
Yeah, Korax
Say
wants to get
something cool.
outside.
Okay.
Inside is dangerous, so his
Yeah.
goal is to get out via
Okay.
any safe means. Yeah, so if there's
safe-
a window, you take that.
Safe is questionable. There's a door right in front of you, and Mina is just inside of it. Just outside of it. So you can easily walk right behind him. Excuse me, walk right behind him and be outside.
All right, yeah, he's going to go out that door, and just turn. He's not going towards the people.
Yeah.
He wants to get to sort of the side of the street against the buildings, and he's
Okay.
going to make his way towards that slavers.
Yeah. So
Caravan.
as you walk out, you see that there's 2 more slavers that are bringing people around. You see the same cart. You see a man standing there with that same whip, and you notice immediately that there's a Nimbus as you try to make your way towards the front of the cart. I will say that the Nimbus guy is towards the front of the cart. He is over there. Mina, you see Korax coming outside brandishing a sword as he marches in the vague direction of the guy with the nimbus on his head. What are you doing, Mina?
Mina will just say, "You're going to hurt yourself more with that than he will. Get the people out of the cart. I'll deal with him," and head towards the guy with the baby.
Okay. So you issue forth that command, and you head towards the guy with the baby. He's only a few strides ahead of you. So what's your intent for this guy?
I am going to use control the field, and I am going to put myself between him and the cage.
Okay. Yeah, that's very easy. Does that cost anything for you?
No.
No. Okay, yeah, so you do that. I'll say, let me see here. Mina, control the field.
It's still an attack as well.
Yeah, so you use a melee attack, inflict 1 less point of damage, and then you get to maneuver. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So, would you like to do a minor effect, or would you like to do 3 additional damage?
I will do a minor effect.
Okay.
Just try to... I don't suppose there's a way to grab the baby from his arms.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, so you do... Let me see here. You'll do 4 damage for the...
It's already less than 1.
Is it already less than 1?
Yeah.
It does.
And
Hell
my
yeah,
normal
cool.
damage is 6.
Cool. Okay, so 5 plus... okay, so you do 5 damage to this guy. The minor effect is you snatch that baby. All right, let me see here. Okay, so... You stab this guy. Now, you have your spear, right?
Yep.
Okay, so, this is one of our first combats in a while, so describe to me how you stab this guy with the spear in a way that would allow you to remove the baby from his hands and safely into yours.
So Mina would come up directly behind him and just aim for the shoulder of the arm that's carrying the baby. And as he swings himself around in between, he'll drive the spear through his shoulder and loop his hand underneath as he drops the baby to catch it.
And you catch it perfectly.
Hold it behind the shield.
Perfect. You absolutely do that. You Captain America this baby. Okay, fantastic. Seydlitz, you see that. And Mina, you have kind of swooped underneath and you have interjected yourself between him and the cart. Seydlitz, you see this happen from your lofty perch up there. What are you doing?
Well, I'm going to try to get off my lofty perch, so I'm going to use my special ability Stalker to jump and climb down the side of the building.
Okay. Let's see, what does Stalker do? Trained in... Okay, so you're just trained in that. So Stalker, so then in that case, if you'd like to climb your way down the building, you can roll me a check. So this will be a difficulty 3 climbing, swimming, jumping check, which should be in your list of skills there. Difficulty 3 should be fairly easy for you. Yeah, so you kind of, there's, lattice work, right, with, some gross, gnarly vines on the side of it, so you can easily pull yourself out of the window, and you just sort of, down the side of the lattice work, and you land with, a harumph on the ground. Crossbow still in hand. That was kind of a movement action, we'll say. Would you like to take a shot?
I have, last session, towards the end, while we were preparing for this, I specially crafted fire arrows for this occasion.
You did craft some fire arrows. Mm-hmm.
So is the cage is it just the cart is just the cage itself, or is it 2 parts?
You can't tell from where you are. What you can see is there is the bottom half of a cart with probably a foot high wall where you put a wagon almost, a wagon wall rather, and then it's bars and a wooden top. You can't tell if that is 2 pieces or it's all 1 unit.
Are there any other carts that don't have people in them?
From this group of the slave company?
Yeah.
Nope, they just have the 1 cart. They don't really care about how comfortable you are in the cart. They are intending to sell you, so it's not really your comfort or convenience is not really an issue of theirs.
No, I was hoping not. I was more for like them, but
Nope, they are walking on foot as far as you can tell. There are two gnarly beasts of burden that they have attached to the front of their cart. They are like these like large, like horse-sized reptilian creatures. You would have seen them kind of here and there in the Nightlands. They're not uncommon. Yeah, that's it. Just a weird lizard creature.
I'm not willing to barbecue the people just yet.
Right. They are innocent people.
So there's the one guy Mina's in front of, and there's another by the front of the cage.
There's one in the front of the cage, like where the lizard creatures are, and there are two more that are like grabbing people, and like they each have a person, and they're dragging them towards the cart.
I'm gonna put down my crossbow and draw my longsword and go after the other guy that Mina's not dealing with.
The one at the front of the cart, or one of the two in the back?
One of the two in the back.
Okay, so yeah, you drop the crossbow, carefully, and you sprint past Mina, shink, longsword out. I think all of those combine to be your full action, sprinting across the battlefield.
Yeah, draws my large cavalry saber.
Yeah, right. That hooked blade comes out. Korax, you have made your way around the side of the building. You have noticed the Nimbus. You've seen Seydlitz like slide down the side of the wall, Peter Pan style, and charge into battle. Shink! Saber comes out as he's running past Mina towards another set of slavers that you've seen. What are you doing? You got a sword.
Korax is holding the sword upside down. That's for sure.
Perfect.
He's not going to be stabbing people with a sword.
Yeah. I can see that.
He's making his way towards the cart. He wants to get to the back of the cart as inconspicuously as he can.
Interesting. Okay, roll me a stealth. It's going to be speed. It's going to be a difficulty 5?
Ooh.
A difficulty 5.
And I've got nothing that's going to help with that.
Yeah.
Speed.
You can spend effort if you got some edge in there, or you can spend effort regardless. But you can spend some effort.
Yeah, I'm going to spend some effort. No bonuses. Difficulty 5, and effort to roll is going to be 1. No assets. Oh, success.
Oh.
Somehow.
Okay. No one saw that coming. Yeah, you fucking do. You do that. You do what you said. So you, perhaps it is the sliding down, the saber thing, the commotion that's happening between Seydlitz and Mina. You're able to go around the opposite side from them. He kind of turns to see this battle happening out of nowhere. You are on to sneak just outside of his periphery to the back of the cart. You see that, like, you sneak around and Seydlitz is, like, running past where you just snuck. You see he is engaging with a slaver that is coming in from the, like, back left. You see there's another one coming from the back right. He doesn't really notice you. He's kind of walking backwards and, like, holding someone, dragging them. You see that the back, like, the center half-ish of the cage, it slides up like a portcullis. But there is a rather hefty lock on it that they appear to be like relocking after they put each person in there. Fear, they don't want anyone to escape. So you are faced with this lock. I will allow you to attempt to open that if you so choose. On this
Definitely.
Okay.
The person who was standing in the cage that looked like they were standing up and different to everyone else. Did they look like the type of person who can use a sword?
Yeah. Do you have, let me see here. Do you have assessing, you know what? Roll me a difficulty 3, discerning true motives.
Sure.
I'll take that from one of your skills. Okay.
No.
So they look athletic enough that like they would be better at a sword than you. What you can't tell is whether they would actually help you or they would just take a sword and run the fuck away. Because they just escaped. If they were to help, they could probably wield it better than you. If they were to help. You can roll me a difficulty 4. What do you want to do to this lock? Are you trying to bash the lock? Are you trying to stab the sword into the thing? Are you trying to pick it? What are you trying to do here?
Korax has some lockpicks.
Is Korax trained in lockpicks? Are you good with those?
He has stolen things, but not necessarily used lockpicks.
Okay, all right. So, on the basis of he has stolen things, I will let you choose between speed and intelligence to roll this difficulty 4 lockpicking check. I will give you 1 asset for actually having lockpicks.
Perfect. So that's an intelligence. Difficulty is, you said 4?
Yes, difficulty 4. And you have 1 asset.
I'm going to use some effort on that. And 1 asset. And as he goes to pick it, he's going to hand the sword like through the bars to the person who was standing up.
Okay.
And just
all right.
hope that they're going to do something.
Okay.
And that's a success.
All right. So yeah, you kind of like you lean the sword up against the cart almost, or like you lean it up against yourself, right? And then you start like working with the two pieces, and you click, and the thing it clasps open, right? It like hangs, and you just kind of knock it to the side, and leaning the sword again like against your hip, you just kind of grab the bottom of this thing and like lift it up as best you can, and then take the sword and hand it to this person. And as you hand the sword to this person. Let's see here. G, welcome. Surprise. Please describe your character.
My character is she's average height, black hair. She has very striking amber eyes, like fire and amber. Very dirty, scraggly, and like she's been in this cart for quite a while, or at least in their company for quite a while, and some scarring on her arms and stuff. And
okay. All right. So yeah, you see this scrawny, like bookish, red-haired boy lift this thing up after picking the lock and just hand you a sword with like eyes that say "Help, please." You are handed a sword. Yeah. What would you want to do?
She takes the sword and kind of looks him up and down. You really kicked the hornet's nest today, haven't you?
No, the hornets followed us.
And she kind of hops off the cart.
If you can help those two, that'd be great.
You see that you've been here watching the whole scene, right? So you see that Mina has engaged with one of the slavers. So you see another young boy with a spear engaging one of these slavers. You see an older gentleman with throw a crossbow, slide down the thing, have a sword out. He's engaging another one. You see another one kind of like moving backwards towards where you are, towards this young boy who just rescued you, kind of. And you see who you know as the master. At the front of the cart, who is kind of like looking back and forth, like, what the fuck is happening? And you see him start to like move towards Mina. You have a sword in hand. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna go for that guy who's backing up towards Korax.
Okay.
Just like she's just gonna stride right towards him and just.
Yeah, you see that he has an arm around somebody and he's kind of like dragging them backwards. Like a stab through wouldn't be the best move, but like if you get him low and slash him, yeah. So roll.
Yeah, she'll like hamstring him.
Okay, roll me a difficulty 4 might check or attack check.
Difficulty 4 might. No effort. No asset. Oh my god, no. That's not good.
That's not good. You don't have any XP to spend.
Do not. Give it to me. Let's go.
Ooh, boy. Okay, let's see here. What happens to you? Okay, so you kind of like jump down, and I think perhaps the excitement of having a sword, perhaps the taste of freedom is too much for you, or perhaps the throes of combat. We don't know what you're into, but you like right when you swing it, and it telegraphs your movement. And so he sidesteps out of the way, and in like one fluid movement, you see him throw the person to the ground, boot to chest, and you see him whip his whip out. And you can roll me a speed defense or might defense, whichever one you prefer. If you want to dodge or if you just want to take the blow. Difficulty is going to be 5.
I have the skill block. Auto block the next melee attack.
Ooh. Let's see here. How do I want to play that? Auto block the next melee attack.
Cost me 3 speed to do so.
Okay. So because this is one of your first times playing Cypher System, you have an edge in speed, so that will only cost you 2 at this moment. So here's what I'm going to say. I will say you can block this one. The GM intrusion is that like he whips it out and then whips it back. So you can block one of the two. Whichever one you choose. So you can block this one, and you will only get hit once, and then the next one comes down, and you can take that same speed defense.
Okay, so if it's a GM intrusion, I'll just forget the block, and I'll...
Okay, so he's going to take you with the first hit. Okay, so he whips that out, right? So speed defense, difficult, speed or might, depending on what you want to do. Difficulty 5.
I'll do speed. Difficulty 5. No effort, no assets. 19.
Success, 19. Okay, so I'm going to throw in your minor effect here, only because there was an additional shit for GM intrusion. So he whips this thing out, and at the last second, you see him jerk it to the side. And as you're like dodging out of the way, you see the whip go right past you, and with the twitch of his hand, you see it like start to curl, as if had you been there a second longer, that thing would have wrapped right around your throat. So in a combination of your dodge, that minor effect, you dodge this thing wrapping around you and kind of locking you into place. He's still boot on the person, and he like draws the whip back. And that is going to be his turn and the end of the PC's turns here. Mina, you are engaged with this slaver. You have stabbed him in the chest. You have a baby. I am going to be mean and say, because you have a baby now, all of your tasks will be difficult, increased by 1. Because you have a baby. And I can only imagine spear fighting in melee combat with a baby is very difficult. So you have this slaver coming at you as well, and he looses his whip and snaps it to the ground and quickly spins it up towards you. Now, I'm not awful. The baby is protected by the shield and will come to no harm. However, you will be, encumbered. So this guy whips this thing towards you. And as you are encumbered, this would be a speed or might defense level 6.
Okay.
Oh, I have another corruption bar to use. You guys are fucked.
Nope.
Okay. So he whips this thing up. It kind of like S shapes towards you. It misses the shield and it like slashes up your chest. Now you're not fully armored. I don't know if you were previously, but you're definitely still in like whatever clothes you went to sleep in. I don't know if you sleep in full armor, but this thing, and you see it tear whatever fabric is on your chest. And there's that thin trickle of blood, right? Like a paper cut almost, up your chest. You take 5 points of might damage.
So the tear of my clothes probably does more damage to me than the actual damage.
It's the mental psyche what happens. Same thing for Seydlitz. Seydlitz, you are running towards this guy, saber in hand, and you see him sort of like throw the person he's dragging like into the so he's more towards the building. He throws this person, they slam into the wall and kind of slump down, and he snaps his whip out at you. For you, it'll be a speed or might defense difficulty 5. Speed is dodge, might is if you want to take the brunt of it, right, and try to like muscle through the pain.
Go with the speed because I have an edge.
Okay. The edge is only if you want to spend effort.
So defense 5?
It will be 5, yep. Speed defense 5.
Adding effort.
Okay.
Yeah.
So effort would be 3 normally, but you -1, so 2 for you for that guy. Okay, yeah, so you come running out of this thing. You see the whip drop, and you see that snake upward again, right? That curve, and you're just able to like lean back and kind of like slide towards him a little bit, keeping that momentum going, and sort of pop back up, still blade ready to go. You had your turn. Corex, you're in the back of this thing. Not your turn, but you see the other guy in the front that no one seems to be really paying attention to, moving towards the back of Mina. You know that Mina did some combat fuckery, and he's now holding the baby. You see his nimbus is still glowing faintly, and you see him crack this whip. Like, he cracks it as he's walking towards it, and he cracks again, and he whips it overhead and just brings it down on the back of Mina. Mina, I'm so sorry, my friend. I need you to make me a... Holy shit, I'm sorry, buddy. I need you to make me a... this one's going to be might, because you can't dodge out of the way. A might defense level 7. Yeah, he's a big boy. Holy shit.
I'll take it.
Okay. Okay. Wow. All right. Yeah, I'm trying to think narratively how you fucking just take this thing like a champ. Yeah, I think, you know what? I will give this to you, Norm. You tell me how you don't dodge, but how do you take this thing like a champ, like a tank?
Mina will probably just flick the baby over into his spear hand.
Yep.
And just put his shield behind his head as if he sensed what's coming.
Yeah.
And just take the full effect of the whip on the shield.
Yeah. Those 2 obnoxious whip cracks were enough to tell you that something real bad was about to happen. Okay, all right, I love it. I love that. That brings it to you, Mina. You are now facing off with 2 people, and you have a baby in your hand.
Mina will kind of glance over to where Corax is and shout, "Catch the baby!" and mime throwing the baby. But if the guy in front of him kind of turns, he'll just say, "Psych," and then he'll manifest his nimbus and go into a defensive stance.
Okay. Yeah, I will say that guy definitely, he definitely looks up to you. Now, I'm going to ask you, do you manifest your nimbus in a way that other godlings can see, or in a way that everyone can see?
Everyone can see.
Okay. So you kind of like make this motion with a baby in your spear hand, shield still kind of pulling back over the front of you, and almost as you like pull your shield back in front, the shing. And what does your nimbus look like on the top of your head?
So the nimbus is a hemisphere with a needle going through it in gold.
Okay. So you do that. You take a defensive stance. Is there an ability you're trying to invoke here, or an action
no.
you'd like to take?
A defensive stance will just give me bonus to defense.
Okay. All right, perfect. So you take that bonus to defense. Korak, you see this play of like, gotcha, kind of thing happening. You don't even have time to react. He like kind of makes a motion. You're like, oh no. Seydlitz, we'll slide over to you. So you slide under the whip. You hear this noise behind you, like a like a save point. You hear this like a not like an angelic noise, but like a chime, like a soft, like in the back of your head, and you know that something happened behind you. You're not entirely sure what this is. And Terry's, you hear the same thing, and Korax, you see this thing light up on the top of Mina's head. Seydlitz, you slide into that whip. You have your saber drawn. What are you doing? You are muted.
I am aware of that. Well, since I'm sliding, I'm taking my saber and I'm trying to kneecap this guy.
Okay. Roll me. Let me see here. Roll me a difficulty 4 attack on this guy.
All the ones today.
You have XP, I would assume.
Yeah, I'm going to spend it.
Okay.
It's our like 4th or 3rd one.
Yeah, you guys are. It's rough. It's a rough day.
Of course, it happens all during combat.
Thankfully.
All right. I actually don't know what to do now. Do I re-roll?
Yeah, you just re-roll. Yep. Re-roll the same thing. Minus 1 XP from the top of your sheet, and just re-roll that same thing.
Already done.
Let's see what happens. Difficulty 5. Difficulty 4.
4. Yeah.
Okay. So you got an 18. You can do an additional +2 damage, so that'd be a total of 6 damage. So you describe this sweet ass attack on me.
So as I slide under the whip as it goes over here, I had the sword kind of at my side. I was still drawing it, and as I come up, I kind of push forward and slash through his legs as I come up behind him.
Perfect. Love that. Yeah, so you do that. You hear, you see a squirt of blood seep out, and you see it like soaking into the pants. That is your turn. And Terry's will have you, since you're in the throes of combat, more or less.
Yeah, she's going to kind of gather herself.
Yeah.
She's been sitting in that cart for days and days. So she's gonna like, she just does like she spins the blade around and kind of gets a better grip on it, and then she's just gonna like get in a fighter stance and then charge at this guy.
Okay. Are you using charge? Do you have charge as an ability, or are you just acting?
Oh no,
charge?
I'm just moving towards
running
him.
towards him. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Difficulty is 5.
Difficulty is 4 for him.
There we go.
Okay, success. Yeah, describe this attack.
Yeah, she just kind of hunkers down, and then she like flips the blade like kind of, what do you do it? The reverse grip.
Yeah.
You know, and then she just steps at him, and then if he moves, she just kind of counters whatever moves he has and just like slashes.
Love it. Yes,
with the blade.
You gotta grab that across him. Yep. Yeah, he actually like stumbles back a little bit and like loses his footing on the person and quickly recovers and stomps on their chest. Korax, what are you doing? You did not catch a baby. However, you did see a Nimbus like.
He did. Is there still a guy on the front of the cart? Or was he the guy that went behind Mina?
He's the guy that went behind Mina.
Right.
So he also has a small Nimbus on his head.
Perfect. So right now there is no one guarding this cart from the baddies.
Correct. However, I will remind you that you did see Stephanie in the cart.
All right. So Korax is shouting to everyone that's in there to get out.
Okay.
And he's going to take the lock that was on it and just throw it as far as he can.
Okay, yeah, no action required. You do that. You're screaming, get it out of this car. You chuck this thing. It, like, dinks off a building.
He's going to jump down from the back, go underneath the cart, and remove the hitches to the beasts of burden.
Okay, yeah.
Sort of
there's
slap the back of them to get them going.
There's like a screw bolt, and you can easily remove that screw bolt, pull out this eye hook, and you hear the thunk as the board drops, and you slap these things, and they take off, still yoked together. They awkwardly kind of bumble forward in that scared kind of waddle run. The cage sort of tips forward a little bit, but everyone can still clamber out of the back. I will say that is your action. Then we'll go to the bad guys. So we'll go for Mina versus we'll do the slavers first. So Mina versus the slaver. Mina, you're still holding a baby, so whip attack. I need you to make a defense of some kind. Difficulty level is 6. for that baby.
I'm gonna wear this one. It's meant to happen.
It's been building.
These rolls today, man.
Okay. I need you to make an additional might defense roll at difficulty 6 again. Okay, so Korax, you have a unique perspective on this. You saw this woman run forward and like quickly dodge out of this weird whip attack. Now you are at the front of the cart. You slap the asses of these two lizard things. You stand up and you see a similarly telegraphed like pullback on this whip as the person that Mina is facing off against slashes across his chest, almost making like two lateral lines, right? And then he like yanks back. And the whip like snaps in the air and swings right back towards Mina and like cinches around his throat. Mina, you're going to take 5 damage, 5 might damage from the initial attack, and you are now suffocating. Every turn in which you do not remove this, you will take 4 points of intellect damage. Yes.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'll be. I don't know, how mean should I be? It is, you did Nimbus. Yeah, you take 4 points of intellect damage right now. This thing wraps around you and you get that initial tug of, and you realize that if you don't get this thing off of you, you will die. You take 4 points of intellect damage as you gasp for air, as this is happening to you. Seydlitz. Difficulty 5, speed or might, whatever you want. This guy, he's cracking that whip right back down at you. Whoof. And Terry's same thing. Difficulty 5, speed or might. This guy, he stumbles back, like bleeding. Blood is soaking down the thigh of his leg. He kind of like braces himself and whips this thing down. It's a sloppy whip, but it still comes right for you, Seydlitz. And right across like your shoulder, he slashes into your shoulder. I imagine like whatever you're wearing, like the buckle on your shoulder kind of like severs a little bit, and you have that searing pain down your shoulder a little bit towards your chest. You take 5 points of might damage.
The sling, it hits the sling on my crossbow that's crossed across my back.
Yes, absolutely, and it almost completely severs off. As you kind of grunt in pain. The same kind of thing, the whip like drags against the dirt and Terry's, and whoosh, this thing snaps up you, crossing like your hip, from like inside to outside of your hip, and you take 5 points of might damage as whatever you're wearing for pants kind of splits and blood begins to seep down your thigh as well. The one with the small nimbus above his head, you hear him laugh behind you, Mina, the shield now back in front of you, and he, like, in this smokes 2 packs a day kind of gravelly voice, he says, "We have a little godling among us. The dragon will love this one." And you hear this, like, this whip of air behind you as he slams that whip down on your back. It'll be a difficulty 8 because I forgot you have a baby and it wasn't a 7 last time and I just forgot math. So difficulty
God.
8 might defense.
Jesus.
All right. Who was betting what on the Deadpool?
Yeah, right.
I'm not that bold.
I can't.
Okay.
Oh,
Still a hearty. Let's see here. I need you to give me a difficulty 7 intelligence defense. Okay. You're going to take 8 points of might damage as this whip tears into whatever is on the back of you. You felt the first one sting as a whip. This one rakes across you as if he just whipped you with a thorn bramble, right? And as this thing whips into your back, again, severing whatever is the clothing on your back, you feel this unbearable sense of dread wash over you. Korax, you see that as soon as that whip meets flesh, the nimbus on this guy's head flares brighter. And as soon as it disconnects from Mina's back, it goes kind of back down to its very, very almost transparent kind of look to it. And as this thing rips through you, you feel, like I said, an overbearing sense of dread, like a we should just surrender kind of thing. It's not worth the fight, let them take us, and you take 4 points of intelligence damage.
Holy shit.
Sorry, Korax is taking 4 points.
I'm sorry, Mina.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Mina. You take 4 points of intelligence damage.
I was going to go, geez, that's some serious powers.
That is, yeah. That is it for them. Mina, it is back to you. What are you doing? Actually, you know what? I'll say this. Initiative is not a real thing in this system, at least the way I play it. If someone wants to interject to jump in ahead of Mina, that's totally fine if you have something that can aid him.
Korax's goal now is to get to Mina.
Okay.
He's seeing that Mina is dealing with a baby and dealing with fighting at the same time, so his goal is to run up. So if he can reach Mina,
you absolutely can. You're maybe 10 feet away.
He's going to go for that and to try and interject between the two and grab the baby.
Okay.
He does have. I do have an action he wants to do.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah, go for it.
And that is to use my ability. Which one is that? Blessing of the Gods, Authority, Law, and Peace, which says I can prevent a foe that can hear me from doing any action for 1 round, and that is on the guy with the Nimbus.
Okay. How does that work? Is it a spend points kind of thing, or is it a roll kind of thing?
It's a cost of 3 intellect. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
basically, the way Korax is doing it is he's grabbing the baby, and as the guy comes up for the whip, his goal is to stop him halfway through the whip. So as he swings it back, it just stops.
Okay.
And he cannot bring that forward to hit Mina again.
What do you say to bring forth your divine authority? And do you make your Nimbus known?
He does not make his Nimbus known, but he whispers a prayer to the gods of old to stop this man from hurting the innocent. And it's just
all right. I'm gonna play the bad GM here. I think no Nimbus. However, I think because of the throes of combat, for you to invoke a blessing of the gods of authority, there's no whisper. You need to shout this prayer. This prayer needs to be audible for this guy to hear. At least this guy to hear.
It is a shout out to Avi.
You know what? I will say this. I forgot how mechanics work in this game. GM intrusion. If you want to stop me, you can spend an XP. You shout this out, and your Nimbus appears.
Ooh.
If you don't stop me, you get an XP, and you get to give one to someone else.
I don't want to stop you, but I cannot remember what I wanted my Nimbus to be.
That's okay.
I cannot describe it.
That's okay. We'll describe it later.
So then that happens. The Nimbus appears above his head, and he shouts out a prayer to Avi, the god of the sun, to stop this man from attacking the innocent.
Okay. So you echo forth this prayer. I will say you echo forth this prayer in a voice that Mina and Seydlitz almost don't recognize. It has none of the presence of a slightly timid 19-year-old boy. It has the command authority of the divine. As you kind of boom this out, and again, everyone hears that that they feel this weird tinkle at the back of their the base of their neck, the base of their head kind of thing, and you hear this lilt of like noise in the back of your head, like chimes almost. And shing, this thing appears. Mina, you see it, like kind of like explode into being. And you see Korax speaking, but the words don't, the sound coming out of his mouth doesn't sound like him. And you see the shadow behind you of this man raising up this lash, and it just stays there. As if he's unable to bring his arm down for a second strike. And as you're kind of like, what the fuck's happening almost, right? You feel Korax reach up to where your spear arm is and remove Arua from you. I will say you're still in combat, Korax. Your body will be the shield. However, you I don't think you have enough speed to get the hell out of there from where you were. Mina, you feel this. I'll let you go next if you'd like.
Yep.
Sorry, the last thing is that XP goes to Mina.
Perfect.
You have an XP.
Thank you. Mina will kind of drop his spear, but he will kind of lunge for the guy that's attacking him in a control the field move.
Okay. The one in front of you? The one you're facing off with? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're dropping your spear. What are you attacking with so I know how to deal with damage here?
I'm literally just trying to tackle him and make it so that Korax can get away.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if you want, if you succeed, I'll say the sheer shock of it is 1 point of damage. But you muckle him to the ground. So go ahead and roll that. That'll be a difficulty. You have no baby now. That will be a difficulty 4.
I am debilitated, so it's still a negative.
Yes. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. So you smash into this guy. You deal 1 point of damage of just landing on him. Normally, you would get a minor effect here. If you'd like, I will let you gain command of this, and you can stand back up while he is still on the ground.
Actually, could I use that effect to get the whip from around my neck?
Yes, you can. Yeah, so you kind of reach through and you kind of pull this thing off of you, and you are able to breathe again. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you see him like knocked to the ground, dust around you, and you kind of roll and remove that from you. And now that you're rolled over, you can see that this guy has his lash in the air and is unable to move it down. That all happens. Korax, you'll be able to get out of the way on your next turn. Seydlitz, what are you doing?
I'm thinking I'm going to try to finish this guy off so I can go over and help them.
Go for it. It is a difficulty 4 attack against this guy.
Come on, dice, be with me.
Success. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so describe how you stab into this guy.
Well, after I've come around in a turn and he hit me with the whip, I'm going basically full center with this, and I'm bringing it down from basically around from his shoulder downwards.
Okay, yeah, so you slash in almost the same way that he whipped you. You see it cleave into him, almost comedically. The buckle holding his chest plate armor snaps as well. You see it kind of hang to the side a little bit. He is stumbling, bleeding down his trousers, bleeding out of his shoulder, and you see that he's stumbling towards the wall where he threw that person, and for a second he places a hand on the wall, takes a breath, and then drops his hand and cracks the whip. He is on his very last leg. Not quite down yet, but he will be soon. And Terrius, it is your turn. You hear this combat happening all around you. You hear the sound of these lizard creatures galloping off in the distance, a clamber of people escaping behind you. And you hear this booming voice of command, who definitely could not have come from the small red-haired boy that freed you. What are you doing?
That guy's still standing right in front of me, isn't he?
He is still standing in front of you. Yeah. You guys are trading blows back and forth pretty good.
Yeah, so I feel like she hasn't really noticed. Like she heard the voice, but she hasn't looked or anything. She's not taking her eye off this guy.
Yeah.
And she's just gonna charge at him again.
Okay.
Difficulty 4. You can use speed or might, right?
No. For a melee attack, it is might.
Might. Okay.
For a medium weapon melee attack, it is might.
Damn it.
That's not it. That's not going to work.
Not it, Chief. God.
That's not it. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, you have no abilities that can help you in combat. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you swing out wildly at this guy. This new wound, perhaps the atrophy you have faced, being locked up in a cage for who knows how long. You get some dust, you get some cobwebs as you telegraph the next attack and miss awfully. Korax, you went, Mina went, everyone went. Cool. It is combat, boys. Yeah, so I'm gonna say the one you knocked down, Mina, is stunned. He's gonna basically take his whole turn to like untangle himself from you, untangle the whip, and sort of get back to his feet. I'll also say in doing so, you can get back to your feet. You won't be in a positive position, but you just won't be on the ground. The master is still trying to bring his arm down, still not working for him. Seydlitz and Teres, I need you both to make me a difficulty 5 speed or might defense against these whip attacks. Woof. Woof, G.
My God.
G's only here for one episode, guys.
Yeah.
Her character dies this round. Yeah, so 5 points of damage. These whips come out at you. Seydlitz, you didn't think this guy had it in him to even get the whip back up, but he is able to just get you in like a way like across like your rib section, like where rib meets like that love handle spot, and just sort of rakes it quickly against you. It is a very half-assed attempt, but it still bites in. And Terry's, on the other hand, this guy, again, doubles down. You see him, like, lean forward towards you, adding pressure to the chest of the person he's standing on, and confidently, like, whoosh, snaps this thing down across your shoulder and digs right in across you. And he kind of pulls it back and snaps it again and sort of sneers at you. I'll catch you again. It'll be all too easy. And that is his round. That brings us to you guys, your order. What do you guys want to do? Who wants to go first? Korax, Mina, and Terry, Seydlitz?
Oh, she's gonna just battle cry and charge at him if I can go attack.
Battle cry and charge. Yeah, go for it. Difficulty is going to be 4. 4 attack on this guy.
Okay, I'm spending effort.
Okay. So I will let you re-roll. So effort normally is part of your initial roll. So effort, you spend, what are you rolling? Might. You spend 2 points of might, because I think you have edge in there, and you would gain a +1, essentially. You'd gain a plus, or it would reduce the difficulty to a 3. So because this is your first time doing it, I will let you re-roll.
Sweet. So reduce my 2, and then...
So it'll be a 4, and then reduce your might pool, your current pool by 2, and then it should say apply effort to attack.
Oh, okay.
In the check boxes.
Effort. No assets. There
you go. Okay,
Good
you
Lord.
succeed. Describe this battle cry and attack on this guy.
Yeah, when he says like, "Oh, I'll catch you again. It'll be easy." She's just gonna like, she doesn't drop the sword, but she like almost like tackles him, and then she jumps on, just like screaming in like anger, and then as she's tackling him, she just kind of drives the sword like right through his chest.
Yeah. So you lunge forward towards him, and it's not like skilled combat. It's just animalistic combat.
Yeah, they probably fall to the ground.
Yeah, you stab this guy, you knock him off of the person, I'll say, but he does remain standing. You both are like locked in like that like, you know, too close combat, right? So yeah, you do that. Seydlitz, Mina, Korax, what do you guys want to do?
So Mina will lift his spear up off the ground in a very practiced move where he just rolls it back with his foot and then flicks it up into his hand.
Yep.
He'll look at Korax and say, "Get the baby out of here." and he will do a quick recovery.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Quick recover that shit. Heal yourself. Current, Matt. Current pool. Your pool is constant. Your current is what you have currently. Yeah, so you heal yourself for 4 as your immediate action. Is that you want to stand fast here? Are you moving anywhere? Okay, perfect. So you stay here. You issue that command to Korax. Korax, Seydlitz, what do you want to do? Rush for the unmute button.
Go for it, Matt.
Hey. Well, I'm gonna finish this guy off.
Okay.
With as much as I can. I just don't like this guy now. He hurts.
He does hurt. Go for it. It's gonna be a difficulty 4 attack against him.
Get this down. This is where I wish I had more than one screen.
Do you have any more XP to spend?
Lord.
I do, yes.
Would you like to spend an XP?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not dealing with this crap.
Okay, spend that XP, re-roll that attack.
Oh, never thought I had to spend so much XP.
It's been too easy. You guys have been talking to people for like fucking 5 episodes, so you know.
I know, right?
Now I bet you wish you're like I miss role playing. This game hurts. Yeah. So I will. This will end this guy. How do you want to kill him?
Well, if my sword's still in his shoulder, I'm gonna draw it out, give him the boot against the wall, and then run him through.
Yeah, absolutely. You absolutely do that. Yeah, so you kind of kick him back against the wall, and you drive the saber through enough that it hits the wall, right? Before you kind of pull this thing out, you see that like blurk of blood come out of his mouth, and he slumps to the ground. There's a streak against the wall of this building, and he kind of to the side. I'll say that was just an action. Would you like to move anywhere?
I'm gonna turn around and see what the heck's going on behind me.
Yeah, you like stab this guy, you pull it out, and as he's like sliding to the ground, you quickly turn around. You see that Korax has a baby. You see that Mina and another slaver are like very close to each other. There's another guy who seemingly is almost frozen in the act of bringing a whip down. A small nimbus above his head. You now see that both Korax and Mina have a bright nimbus above their heads, and you see that the slave cage has been opened. The animals have run away, and you see a woman that was in the cage is now battling one of the slavers. So what direction would you like to run in, if at all?
Are people getting out of the cage, or are they just all?
Yeah, it's kind of like chaos. They've all scattered out of the cage. They're kind of moving around and running. That's all happening around.
But it's empty.
It's empty. Yeah. It's empty and tipped. It's tipped forward. Like it's not attached.
I'm gonna sheath my sword and not move. I'm gonna prep my crossbow for next turn with a fire arrow.
So I will say that before you grabbed your saber and ran out, you did drop your crossbow. You did say, "I dropped my crossbow."
No, I said I put it over my shoulder with a sling.
You said
I mentioned the sling. But,
you said you 100% said drop.
All right. Well,
Sorry,
I still have the arrows. So
you
I
do
still
have
the fire
arrows. You do have arrows.
I'm gonna run over the cart and prep a fire arrow and stick it in this thing.
Okay.
Next turn.
Okay.
Next turn.
So you pull out one of your bolts, one that is wrapped in something, and ready yourself. Everyone went Korax.
Hi. Where is Stephanie, Mike?
Where would you like her to be? You saved everyone and let them run out. So if you would like to have directed her in a direction, or at least kept tabs on her, you can do that.
I am hoping that she is running back to the tavern, or at least close enough that I could quickly get her own baby.
Sure.
So I don't have to look after it.
Narratively, why not? That makes sense. That's where Dresden is. That's the only place she knows in town. So yeah. She's running that way. You are only about like 15 feet from the door. That's as far as Mina got out, and you kind of are right next to him. So you could easily make it back there inside if you so choose.
I think in that case, then, as she's running past, is when Korax has the baby, and he will take the 2 or 3 steps over and literally just hand out the baby for her to take.
Okay.
And just says, "Get inside."
Yeah, so football pass as she scoops her child and runs inside. Will that conclude your action, or is there something else you'd like to do?
The action I'd like to take is to use Resonance Field. So as Korax is standing there, he sort of passes off the child. A blue glow starts to shimmer over his body, and he stands there and waits for the man with the big whip.
Have you put yourself in between Mina and the whip guy?
Yep.
Okay.
He's standing because I think when he took the baby, well, you might be next to to Mina, but he's going to step between Mina and the guy with the big ass whip.
Okay, yeah, I'll say you have enough. It's a small enough area that you can take a step aside, put the baby out there, it gets scooped up, and you interject yourself between Mina and this whip wielding Nimbus character. Yikes. Okay, so let's deal with that first. That whip comes down. Your command ends. The authority within you is not strong enough to last that long. And he is in the act of bringing it down. He sees everything that's going on. He just was unable to do anything about it. And he drives this thing into you. I need you to make me a difficulty 7 defense attack.
Luckily, resonance fields means I get to use intelligence.
Okay. It also gives you armor, doesn't it?
I have 1 point of armor from ward.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of.
So no bonuses. Difficulty 7, you said?
Difficulty 7.
And I'm going to spend effort. That's the whole point of using intelligence.
Yep.
No assets. That's a 20, Mike.
You are as lucky as everyone else is unlucky today.
I want my luck back, Necro.
No.
Describe. What would you like for a major effect here? Let's talk this one out.
So he has a friend, Mike. He has a friend that's kind of behind Mina and myself.
He does.
I
Yeah.
would like him to hit his friend with that horrible whip.
Oh. Okay. Okay. That was a. Okay. Yes, I will say this. Because you are able to use intelligence as a stat, you have positioned yourself in such a way that directly behind you is that guy. And you're waiting for, you know what's going to happen as soon as your authority wears off. And so you have yourself positioned, the whip kind of comes down, and you're able to, like, drop, right? I don't think you're super quick to jump out of the way, but dropping to the ground is very fast. So you immediately drop, and the whip goes right where you were, and it's just long enough to slash into that guy. Fucking yikes. Okay. Go ahead.
One other thing, Mike. So it says in here that if I get a minor effect, the creature attacking me takes 1 point of damage. However, if I get a major effect, the creature takes 4. So do you want to do that instead?
It's optional. So it is, you can do a minor effect or you can do the damage. So it's, if you got that 20, you could do an additional 4 points of damage, or you can do a minor effect for yourself.
This is on defense rolls, specifically defense rolls.
Do you have an ability that does that?
That's resonance field.
Oh fuck! Let me see this. Let me check this math here. Resonance field. You can make it.
Necro knows his abilities.
That's great. That's great. I just want to make sure the wording is correct. If you do so, you get a minor effect. The creature attacking you takes 1 point of damage. If you get a major effect, the creature... Oh, okay. Cool. So the guy with the whip takes 4 points of damage, and you get the major effect from what you just did. Okay, so you see the whip come down, and you're timing it, right? Like you're counting cards, and you drop to the ground. And as you drop, you see that Nimbus flare before it hits the other guy, right? And you saw as soon as it hit Mina, it flared. So before that whip even cracks down, you see it flare, and you see him grimace over nothing, apparently. Yikes, intelligence damage is no armor. Okay. That was his first damage. And he drives this whip down on the guy that's fighting with Mina. I will let you describe this, Chris. This kills that guy. How do you want that to look like?
I think because the guy was lying on the floor, wasn't he?
He had gotten back up. He had disentangled himself for his turn and got back up.
So as the guy did to Mina earlier, I think as it comes past, it hooks him around the neck. Mm-hmm. And it's just enough to literally choke him out at that point, as he was grasping for breath already as he was standing up. It was just enough to to take him
Yeah.
out completely.
You from your like lower vantage point, you see that the barbed whip like digs in almost like crown of thorns, and you can see like small punctures just bleeding out of his neck as he like and you see him drop to the ground, little blue in the face, and the whip recoils, and you see this guy look down at you, and you see him getting ready for a lash towards you. But that is his turn. He is super dead. There is Seydlitz, you are charging towards the cart. And Teres, you have one guy on you. Mina, the guy you were fighting, just dropped to the ground, killed by his own guy. And all you have left is Korax on the ground, bright nimbus on his head as the slave master is about to strike him down. Who would like to act first?
I'll go first since I'm on that guy.
Okay.
He's still so he is still alive.
Yes.
Okay. And so we're like almost like face to face with him.
Yeah, you guys are pretty damn close. Like you can like, it's not going to be like a disengage. You can just like back up and stab him again. There's no mechanics for that.
And she's gonna like growl through her teeth like, "You'll never take me alive." And she's gonna
Okay. I like it.
attack him again. Oh, thank God.
Okay, you. This will be enough to kill this guy. So describe your attack.
Well, the last attack was just like a shot to the chest, and so this is just gonna be another one. She's like they're like face to face, and she's just gonna like look at him like blood on her face and stuff. It's like, "You're never gonna take me alive," and then she's just gonna like double thrust with the sword through his chest.
Yeah, and he like grabs you, and you hear him like cough, like you get like the blood on your shoulder, and he says, "If we don't, someone will." And he slides off of the sword and to the ground. You hear behind you the person scrambling up that had the boot on the chest is scrambling up and running away. And you turn back and you see this scene of utter chaos all around you. But that will be your turn. You can move if you'd like.
Yeah. So there's like the main slaver guy with the nimbus.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. You see, it's a very faint nimbus right now.
She's gonna run at him.
Okay, so you're charging towards the next combat. Seydlitz,
Yeah.
you are charging towards the cart. What do you want to do?
Less charging, more casually walking, but
Sure.
as I light this arrow, I'm making sure no one else is in the cart, and I'm basically going to stick this thing through the bars on the inside.
Okay, yeah. So you stab this thing to the center of the cart, and it starts to smolder. You see the wood around it burning. It will catch eventually because it's wood, and that's what wood does, but it will take some time. This is a large cart. I will say that's not enough for an action. If you'd like to ready something or move towards something or pick up your...
I would like to move to recover my crossbow.
Yeah, so I'll say you can get to and pick up your crossbow. You are now between the inn and everyone else, where you slid down, basically. So you have your crossbow back in hand. Mina, you have one less combatant.
So Mina will try to control the field again and put this guy up against the cart with his back to the cart to make it more difficult for him to use his whip.
So you're going to try to push him towards the cart?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So roll an attack. It will be difficulty 7. Oof. You want to spend that new XP you got there, bud?
I think I need to.
Okay. Okay.
Now that's 5.
It's a rough day. Okay. A casual failure is better than an epic failure. So yeah, describe this. You have your spear in hand. You kicked it up into your hand. You have your shield ready. You're babyless. This guy is ready to strike down Korax. How does this not work for you? How does this guy?
So the movement still works, but
that's
he
right.
doesn't take any damage.
That's
so,
true. That's right.
Mina will try to charge between Korax and the slaver in a way to try to defend Korax as well.
Okay.
And in doing so, it distracts him enough that the spear thrust goes well, but it's still position. The guy still takes a step back towards where the cart is.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so he takes a step back to dodge out of the way of your spear, basically, thus positioning him close to where you wanted him. That's your turn, Korax, I think.
Sure. Korax is going to roll to get back up to the opposite side of Mina, to the gentleman with the whip.
Yep.
He stands up, and again with the really loud request to the gods, he's going to use a different ability.
Okay.
Called, for protection and silence. You create a quiet bubble of protection around you with an immediate radius for 1 minute. The bubble moves with you. Difficulty of all defense rolls for you and creatures you designate is decreased by 1 step, and no sounds louder than a normal speaking voice. So he shouts out another request to the old gods. Not to Avi this time. It's a Xenia, the Earthshaker.
Okay.
To defend those who require defense, and he puts his hands on the back of Mina as a small blue bubble just extends around the pair of them.
Okay. Yeah. So anyone, Anteri, since you're running towards that, you see this bubble like appear, like it's this glimmer around Korax is blue, and you see it extend out and just sort of fade away, like you just saw him do magic, right? And he also shouted a prayer to the gods a second time. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. So it makes any defense that Mina might have to do 1 less.
Yeah.
Cool. I will have to remind me of that, Chris, because I will forget.
I shall.
That. Cool. That is everyone's turn, I believe, but the slave master. Yeah. So he is going to. What is he going to do? He's not like back to the cart, but he's definitely backed up because of Mina's shove there. He has the whip down by his side, and you see him reach across like his left hip, where you see now he's reaching towards a tube. Korax, you would be fairly familiar with this. This looks like a map case, almost. You see him, like, pop the top of this thing off, like, thunk, it kind of comes off, and he reaches in and slides out this scroll of paper. Korax, Mina, and Teres, if you're all looking in this direction, Seydlitz, I'm not entirely sure which direction. Are you looking at this guy as well? Are you positioned towards him? To face him, at least?
I picked up my crossbow, and I'm kind of moving and looking over.
Okay. You all would see this paper slide out, and like on the paper, there's like this sheen to it. And as he unfurls this thing, you see that the paper has a nimbus. And he calls out in like almost the same kind of booming voice as you just saw Korax use. It's like when Gandalf speaks the black speech in Fellowship of the Rings, and everything kind of like it just resonates, and you can feel that. And he calls out, "As decreed by the dragon Nulemriel, this and all property I decree is mine." And he like shakes this thing. And you feel this burst almost come from him as you see every word written on this thing glow in red, and you see that nimbus shine bright. It is as bright as Mina's and Korax's. I am spending a corruption bar because we have 3 of them, and he. You see, those of you that are close, so Korax and Mina, you see him like. It's almost as if he like stands taller, and you see him like almost bulk out, right? Like as if you just saw a 30-day transformation. He just got bigger, and like everything about him seems that much more imposing. And he's now holding this decree in his hand, whip in the other hand, and that's his turn. The 4 of you are around for this guy who seems to no longer be fucking around.
Finally. No, I'm just kidding. Am I close enough to attack him?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. I have that ability, Surge in Confidence. I gain 1 action immediately after my first recovery roll. So can I recover?
Yeah, so your
some
first
hit
recovery
points?
roll is an action. So you just click the recovery button, and it should spend that. I think it's like a D4. So you recover 2 hit points, and you can take another action as per your ability.
Yeah, she's just battle crying again and full on attacking this dude.
Great, yeah. Difficulty 8.
Oh no.
Yeah, if you'll notice, it was a difficulty 7 before. It's not anymore.
All right, miss.
Yeah, so a difficulty 8 is impossible to roll, I believe, on a d20. So take that into consideration when you are attacking things. Everyone else, it's your turn.
Mina will try to control the field again. You probably noticed that by now that Seydlitz has set the card on fire, so he's going to try to get this guy near that fire.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, difficulty 8. Essentially, everything you do to this guy is going to be difficulty 8. So. I will say, if you are not trained or spend effort, you will not hit him. A difficulty 8 means you need to roll a 24 on a 20-sided dice. So take that into consideration when you are making your attacks. Korax, this is what you get for doing all the things you did. And also for you Nimbus boys doing Nimbus stuff. Korax, Seydlitz, your turns, respectively.
But that still moved him towards the...
It does, yeah. So actually, you know what? Describe the move.
Yeah. So Mina will kind of look quite a bit taken aback, but he will continue to press forward to move this guy further away. So he'll kind of get up in his grill with knowing that he's probably useless in attacking, and so the spear will be more of a distraction to push the shield against him and push him back another step.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Yeah. So he stumbles back, and you see him like bump the back of the cart, and you can see that the cart is slowly starting to like catch fire, and he hasn't noticed that yet. Mina, Korax, Seydlitz, what are you guys doing?
Hi, Mike. Korax
Yes.
wants to take that piece of paper. He's going to try and snatch it from said gentleman's hand as Mina is pushing him around, and Torres is trying to attack him from behind, in the hopes that he is distracted enough for Korax to make a jumping maneuver and yoink it.
Okay. I see what's happening here. What I would like for you to do before you do that is roll me. You give me a 1 to 10 on what you think your knowledge of the Nightlands is.
Of the Nightlands?
1 being you have amazing knowledge, 10 being you have shit knowledge.
Well, I know which one's going to make my life easier, but I think realistically, Korax is probably a 6.
Okay. Roll me a 6 on your divine knowledge roll.
So knowledge of godly beings to difficulty 6.
Yes.
No bonus. Difficulty 6. We're going to use effort because we can. That's a failure, Mike.
Okay. Man. Yeah, you have no idea what this piece of paper is, but you fucking sure want to take it.
It's magical, Mike.
It is magical. You're not wrong, and that is what Korax does. He takes things that are magical.
Right.
I will say, yeah, he could be distracted enough. It would be some kind of speed roll, a stealth, something like that, and it would be, it would be an 8. I'm going to give you an asset and make it a 7 because he's in no way expecting that, given what the fuck's happening. Take my piece of paper is not on his list of things to worry about right this second. So yeah, I will say difficulty 7 for that.
Difficulty 7, and that's going to be speed.
It will be. And again, a 7 is a 21 on a 20-sided die, so unless you have some way to bump that up, that will not happen for you.
There's always effort, Mike.
There is.
Oh, unfortunately not.
So you move forward, kind of around Mina after placing your hands on his back. You like dip down by his spear arm, and you go to rip this paper from his hand, and you sort of grab the bottom, right, because it's a scroll that like unfurled. And not only does his grip remain firm and does not slip as you rip this thing, you tug pretty hard, and the paper itself doesn't show any signs of tearing at all. And you can see up close that this is exactly what he said. This is actually, you at this distance, you, a criminal, know exactly what this is. This is a handwritten indulgence written by the dragon Nelemriel herself. On behalf of on behalf of her, to capture slaves for her. So not only did you stop a slave caravan, you stopped her slave caravan. So that happened. You tug this thing, so you're still kind of low, not on his priority list right this second. You try to rip this thing down, and it's not happening for you. So that will be your turn. Seydlitz.
So he's trying to rip the piece of paper. That's like, is Korax still holding it?
Yeah, he's still holding it. Korax has the bottom half of it. He's holding the bottom half, and the other guy's holding the top half.
I'm going to light a fire arrow and yell at Korax, "Hold it steady!" And I'm going to try to shoot the scroll.
Okay. Difficulty? I will say the same thing. So difficulty 7, because again, no one thought this was going to happen. And I will give you an asset for Korax holding it steady.
All right.
Unless he really doesn't want it to get hit, and he's like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the size of him and the combat, he didn't think that anyone would try to take or shoot his piece of paper. Was not on his list of things to prioritize in combat, I don't think.
Don't forget all of your abilities, Matt. Use every one of them.
I forget, is asset is the bonus or is it after the effort? I can't remember which one of these inputs.
I think it's after. I think it's
All right,
after.
let's just try it. Unfortunately, I don't think I have any effort to assist, so...
Effort, you just spend your pool. So for you, let me see here. So Seydlitz, you would reduce your speed pool by 2, and that would give you 1 effort.
Oh, they're definitely applying effort to roll. This is...
Yeah, and then one of the okay messages should say any assets.
Right.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, wow. That was,
dice
that
are
was,
fickle today.
That was rough.
I don't think you succeeded on any of your attacks.
No, he did. He killed that. He killed that
I killed the guy. Just...
Yeah.
Oy.
Yeah, you just
dice are rough today.
You rolled a 5. Okay.
No, I rolled a 13.
Oh yeah, you're right. You needed to roll a 15 to hit this guy. Yeah, so
I only needed 2. God dang it.
If you have an XP, you could spend it and re-roll.
I have 1.
That's the
but
fickle.
I'm not.
That's the fickle part of the game. It's like, do you want to spend your XP and level up, or do you want to hit shit? Okay, yeah. So you fire this arrow. It whizzes by Korax and this paper and sort of dunk into the wheel of the cart. That thing catches a little bit.
It's now doubly on fire.
It is double. It's on fire in 2 places at least. That is everyone's turn here. It's going to be the slave master's turn. He is. What is he going to do?
He's the only one left, right?
He is the only one left, as far as you guys know. Yeah, he is going to. I'm going to GM intrude here. he is going to. I'm going to GM intrude on. It's going to be Korax. Sorry, buddy. You can stop this. You can spend an XP. What he's going to do is boot you in the face to get you off of his piece of paper. Yeah, he's going to boot you in the face to get you off his paper. Essentially, using the control the field move that Mina has to just get you away from him. Yeah, if you let that happen, you can take an XP and you can give one to someone else. If you don't let that happen, you hold on to the paper, and he is unable to boot you in the face.
Let's take the boot to the face, Mike.
Okay.
Why not?
So he rears up, left foot, and boom! Kicks you squarely in like the chest face area, because I imagine you kind of crouch down. It's not enough to give you any points of damage, but it's definitely enough to like hit your nose, make you recoil, you let go of the paper, and kind of tumble backwards a little bit. That is a GM intrusion. XP for you, XP for Antares, as you said in chat here. And you see him reel up overhead with that whip for his actual attack. And he is going to... Mina, are you still the closest to him? Now that Korax got booted in the face?
Yeah,
Or me.
I've been pushing him back, I guess, so...
Okay. Yeah, did you get close enough to attack Antares?
I did. I missed him with my sword.
That's true, and you are an escaped slave. That does take priority. So yeah, he boots Korax. You see him whip this thing up, and like he looks at you, Mina, and the last second he turns and brings this thing down to his side towards Antares. That's going to be a difficulty 8 defense. So you can defend with speed or might. Speed is dodge, might is just take it on the chin. Yes.
Is Antares within immediate range of Korax? Because he's been booted down to the ground and they're in immediate range of said gentleman? Because if it is, she gets a reduction of 1 on that defense.
I will say yes. I will say she's an immediate. That will act as an asset. So it'll be a difficulty 8 with an asset. And you can spend effort on whatever you'd like.
Yeah, I will spend an effort. 1 effort. And then 1 asset.
Okay.
No.
This thing cracks down on you. You take 8 points of might damage as this guy rips this spiked monstrosity into your arm and torso. Just cuts across.
So what happens if my might pool goes below nil?
You are debilitated, which means all of your new rolls from now on take. Oh, sorry, you are impaired. So you'll take the 3 points out of your might, and then the remaining number out of your speed. And then you'll see how the damage track automatically checked off impaired. That means every single roll you make will be automatically calculated as 1 step more difficult than it was previously. Okay. So that is rough. Yeah, so you get cracked with this thing. And, sorry, buddy, I need you to make me an intelligence defense task. An intelligence defense of 6.
Me?
Yep.
Okay. Intelligence of 6. Nope.
Okay, you feel that overbearing feeling. You've actually felt this before, I think. The just give up. This isn't worth it. Just let him take us kind of feeling. You take 4 points of intellect damage. And again, you see a little bit of bright flash of his glowing nimbus. Yikes. That is his turn. What do you guys want to do?
Is running an option?
Running is always an option. Where you'll run, I don't know.
Yeah, Mina won't run, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So he'll keep continuing with the controller field, trying to get him to the burning part of the cart.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, so roll control the field. It would be difficulty 8. So you push him towards the cart further. Okay, so I will say this: he's against the cart. The open part is on the back side of it. He is on like the right side of it. So you have him to a point where like he's against it and can't get any further into it. You can keep pushing him back on subsequent turns, and that will stop him from getting away from it if you'd like. But he can't go back any further, essentially. So if there's anything else you'd like to do on subsequent turns to like secure him to this thing or get him there or some kind of smart book boy thing, I don't know. That you can do. So yeah, you kind of bash him into this thing. Korax, Antares, Seydlitz, what would you like to do? Antares, bleed out. Is that the great option for you?
Bleed out. No. So I have to spend. What did you say? In order to even attempt to hit him, I have to.
You would have to spend effort. So to hit him of a difficulty 8, which he is right now, you need a 24 on a 20-sided dice. So you would need to spend effort. And spending 1 effort, which is I think all you can do, would make it a 21 on a 20-sided dice.
So I can't hit him.
You are, unless you have some kind of ability that makes it easier for you to hit people, you have no chance of hitting him.
I do not. No, I have no way to hit him. Yeah, but she's still gonna attack him, but she's going to like try like jumping on him, like grab, just like no sword. She's not swinging with her sword.
Mm-hmm.
She's just like the battle, like the scream of like rage and just like jumping on him.
Okay. I will say this. I'm all for that happening. For anything you do to have a mechanical effect, it would have to be a difficulty 8 roll. You can, however, do something to distract and give an asset to someone else, thereby dropping their difficulty. So you could like grab an arm and like just try to stop him from hitting someone and give them an asset like that.
Yeah. Can I grab his whip arm?
Yeah, so you try to you like hook his arm and try to like hold it as steady as possible, and you feel like this like man. Imagine grabbing the Rock's arm and being like, "I'm gonna get you." You immediately feel that and you're like, "Oh shit, this guy is big." As you try to like pull him back. So I will give one person, whoever it is, an asset. I will say an asset towards defense for this one. So whoever is attacked will get an asset towards defense of whip. Cool. So that is Antares. Mina, you bashed him. Korax, Seydlitz, what do you got?
Go for it, Matt.
I don't know yet. That's the issue.
All right.
And in that case, Korax, having been kicked to the ground, rolls over and stands up angrily. There's no real limits to how many times I can do my blessings of the gods, but he shouts out again to Avi and tells this man to stop his action. And he cannot attack anyone for 1 round. And I can do that for a little while. Can't hear you for some reason, Mike.
Sorry about that. The limit is how many times you can spend your intellect pool until you pass out.
11 more rounds.
There you go. There you go. No, it takes like 2 or 3, doesn't it, for you?
It should be 3, but I've got 2 edge.
You do have 2 edge, you sassy little bitch. Okay, cool. So you prevent you from attacking anyone. Okay, yeah, great. So you do that for sure. He stops. And Teres, you still feel the resistance against your arm, but it like it's lessened almost. Like he knows he can't attack, so his forcefulness against you is far less. Seydlitz, what are you doing?
I'm gonna assess the situation around me.
Okay. What are you trying to do with that?
Mainly just like identify the field, like who's still on the field. Is it just us 4 and the big guy, or are there still other people?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna make you roll for this. It's the big guy, you 4. There's like scattered civilians are they've all kind of mostly made their way out of here, but you can still see the people peeking behind like buildings and stuff. It's noticed that there is a fight here, but it is only you guys.
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna try to pick Stephanie out of the crowd.
I will also give you this for free. Stephanie is in the building.
Never
Yeah,
mind.
Corax, while you were running towards, or while you were casually walking towards the cart to stab it with the fire arrow, you saw Corax hand her the baby and usher her into the building. However, you are standing in front of the door to the inn. She is somewhere behind you.
The inn has alcohol, doesn't it?
You would imagine, yes, it would.
I'm just thinking for the spirits, maybe make more fire bombs.
Yeah, you could run inside and grab spirits as your turn. That's totally fine.
Definitely doing that.
Okay, yeah, you see, Corax. I think because you're the only one that's like not super engaged in melee combat. You see Seydlitz kind of like look at everything, assess, and you see him turn and step back inside the inn with a purpose, not with a retreat. That is everyone's turn. This guy can't move. Go ahead, guys. What do you got?
Oryx will speak up and look at Antares and say, "You whip through the bars. I'll keep him here. Corax, you keep him stopped." And he'll do another control the field to keep him.
Okay. Yeah,
Up
you don't
against the bars.
even have to roll for it, Mina. You smash him into the bars. You tell Antares to grab the whip and like pull him through the bars with that. So Antares, Corax, what are you doing?
She'll do that
Okay.
if she can.
Yeah, so you can grab the whip. All right. So what is your plan? To grab the whip and like secure it to the bars? What are you trying to do here?
I was indicating one of the whips on the ground.
Oh, okay. So Mina, what was your goal in telling Antares to whip through the bars? Like tie him to the lash him to the car?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Antares, you can kind of get that intent. There is a whip right near you on the ground. Just not his.
Yeah, she'll reach down and grab it and try and tie him to it. The
Okay.
bars. You want his whole body or
Do
just
I-
his arm?
Maybe just his throat. I don't know.
Do I want to be mean? You grab the whip to tie him to the bars.
Or can I use? Would it be easier to use the whip that's in his hands? It's like a long thing, right?
The other whips are almost as long. That's just a little longer and nastier.
Well, it just makes them already holding his arm, so I wouldn't have to like let go of his arm.
He's still holding the whip, so you'd have to fight him for the whip. Whereas on the ground, you just pick that up and take it. It's yours. What I want to be mean about is a GM intrusion here. So it's a GM intrusion against Antares. Unfortunately, you do. You do have 1 XP, so you could spend your XP and stop me from doing this to you. However, if you do not, you gain an XP, you get to give one to someone else. The GM intrusion is, you pick up the whip on the ground, and you know the best way to secure him to the cart is by getting back in the cart. However, you've been in that cart for quite some time. That cart has some bad connotations for you. You don't want to be back in that cart. You can either take 4 intellect damage and live with the mental PTSD of going back into that cart, or you can force your way through it and expose your nimbus.
Also, the cart is currently on fire.
And it's on fire.
Okay,
You won't
so
take
if
fire damage, but you'll take mental PTS damage, or you will expose your nimbus and power through it like the demigod you are.
Actually, I think I'm gonna take the XP and go inside.
Okay. So which do? Do you take 4 damage or do you expose your nimbus?
I'll take the 4 damage.
Okay. All right. So you gain PTSD and you keep your secret of being a demigod. So
and I take 4 damage.
You take 4 intellect damage. So you grab this whip, right? And you realize what you have to do. You saunter to the back of, like, you trudge, right? The long, slow trudge of. You trudge to the back of this cart. You kind of have to hoist yourself up onto it because it's tipped forward from Korax dropping the pin. And as you, like, climb up onto the back of this cart, you see the flames are inside of it are starting to spread. It's not enough that you can't navigate through it quickly enough. But as those flames kind of flicker in your amber eyes, you have a quick flashback to this exact kind of scene where 2 of the slavers they have you pinned. You're bloody and bruised. One of the other slavers is down on the ground. Another one in the distance is dead, trying to grab you. Your sword, any other like armor weaponry that you might have had is scattered about on the ground, and they are dragging you almost limp as they have bludgeoned you into submission, as they are dragging you into this cart the same way that you're kind of pulling yourself up into it now. And you see this same slave master that you are embattled with now, who is very casually, nonchalantly checking or writing marks on his indulgence of like a job well done, collected 7 from this town, right? That kind of thing. As you are thrown into this cart several months ago, as you kind of push through that and pull in the trauma of that moment for intellect damage, you are able to get in. And how do you want to secure this guy? Are you trying to like hold it like around his throat, like a garrote style, or are you trying to tie him up to it?
She wants to brutally hold this guy, so yeah, garrote style.
Okay, so I will say you can garrote style hold him. The cart is no less on fire. So if the longer you hold him in there, the more you risk being on fire yourself.
She did say you'll never take me alive to the other guy.
That is true. You did say that. You did in fact say that. Okay. You climb in there. Mina, you see her like lash this thing, like the handle around the bars, catch it, and she just like full bodily strength leans back.
Feet on the bars if I can, and lean back.
And is not tying him like you had originally intended, but is choking him with a whip at this moment. That is it for your turn, Korax.
Korax is going to just keep his gaze on the guy, continuing his prayers to Avi to stop him from continuing to attack us.
Okay. So I think, in a very befitting scene for Korax, this prayer of like stopping, right? It went from like a request, and now this is like a prayer, right? Like you are now full on continuous praying, which is something that most people haven't seen in a while. That you are like full on loudly praying to the old gods, and requesting their aid in stopping the atrocities of this guy. Cool. So you continue doing that. Seydlitz, you are inside, unaware of most of this, and you are able to easily jump behind the bar, grab whatever makes for spirits. Roll me a d6.
We just take dash d6.
/R space d6.
My space bar does not like to work lately, so.
All right. You are able to locate 6 bottles of spirits. Difficult to carry all 6 of them, but you are able to locate 6 of them.
Awesome.
Okay. You can like bundle them up and take all 6 of them, or just take a couple of them, or whatever you like to do.
I'm taking all 6.
Okay, so you kind of like scoop along here, Captain, Jack Sparrow style, and you kind of come back out of the bar. I think. Not enough movement for you to throw one of them, but you are able to bring them all out into the field of combat, and you see that now inside the flaming cart is Antares, or this woman who was freed, who is now choking the slave master with all of her might, while Korax stands there and shouts at the heavens. And Mina continuously like presses his shield into this guy to push him back towards the cart. It is a shit show from your perspective, Seydlitz.
It very much is.
This guy is stunned from attacking. He is fighting back against Antares and Mina. I will say I'm going to just roll. Actually, I'm not going to roll because I'm a GM. I don't have to do that. Who has any kind of bonuses to defense? Mina, Antares, do either of you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I will let you roll this with an asset from Antares. He's trying to get free of this chokehold. He can't attack any of you, but he's trying to use his strength to like get you away from him, get her away from him, whoever he can get away to get away. So this will be a difficulty. I will say this will be a difficulty 8 with an asset from Antares, with whatever bonuses you have and whatever effort you'd like to spend, and this will be might. I would say.
No.
Okay. Let's see here.
I will spend an XP and re-roll that.
Alrighty. Tension builds. Close. Okay, so he reaches up with his. You know what? He doesn't have a free hand. That means he drops something.
The whip.
Corax, high or low?
High.
Okay, high. He drops the paper. He drops the whip. The whip drops to the ground, and he grabs the whip in his around his neck, and he pulls like the whip forward and lurches his body forward towards Mina. Mina, he's gonna stay where you have him, but he lurches forward, and it sort of yanks Antares towards the bars. Not enough to cause damage, but definitely loosens her grasp on this thing in a way that you would have to roll to get it back to where you want him, Antares. But he yanks it forward, pushing you towards the bars. Seydlitz, you see this whole thing. Corax, you see this whole thing. Whip to the ground. That is his turn. Players?
Her foot would slip off the bar, so she kind of like falls forward.
Yeah.
And she's just doubling down.
Okay. I will say difficulty 8 with one asset.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. With one asset. Sorry, all I have. Can I still roll on might even though I have nothing left in it?
So you don't have any might to spend. You can still roll a might.
Okay.
You just can't spend effort.
Difficulty 8. No effort. One asset.
Oh, I don't even have to make you roll that. You can't hit that.
Yeah.
Because you're also impaired. So you're impaired, so that basically cancels out the asset, making it still a difficulty 4. So yeah. So you like reposition your foot, you get like one foot on the bar, and you're fully extending, trying to pull this thing back to no avail. He has this thing forward, and whatever strength he garnered from whatever the hell he did is enough to keep it's occupying one of his hands. I'll say that. Corax, Mina, Seydlitz.
Mina will.
Nope.
Sorry.
Nope. Do you want to go?
I'm just saying Mina's just trying to keep him up against the bars, so he's just going to keep controlling the field.
Yep. So you control the field. You keep him exactly where he is. Seydlitz.
All right. I'm going to set down these 6 spirits.
Yep.
Exception of 2. And I'm going to take one, throw them, take them both, and I'm going to toss them at his feet and trying to splash him and the ground below him with just pure alcohol.
Okay. I would like a roll. You're going to do that. It happens. However, there is, in fact, a flaming arrow in the wheel of this cart. So there's a slight chance you may catch that.
I am very aware of that, and I want that.
So I would like you to roll. It's going to be speed. Roll me ranged attack. Roll me a speed attack, just like you're using your bow. Difficulty is going to be a 5.
I don't have a just standard ranged attack button, but
That's fine. Just roll speed.
difficulty 5. Applying effort. Again?
Would you like to spend that new XP you just got?
Yes.
You don't have to. I can intrude. I have one ready.
But I don't want to screw my team over.
It's entirely up to you.
Who needs
Yes.
to level up?
That XP
Yeah,
can be very valuable.
who needs level up? Who needs
I
To
mean-
be
level
fair,
up?
I have loads of XP. It's fine.
That XP can be very valuable.
The thing is, I've already spent the effort, so this is gonna hurt. I'm
No,
rolling
when
again.
you re-roll, you don't spend the effort.
Yeah, you just you just re-roll. You only spend it one time. Okay, so you splash him with these spirit bottles. His like shins down is wet. There is a small pool around him and shattered glass. However, it does not actually catch in the fire. You'll either have to fire an arrow or hope some of those fumes might spark something. But that would be your action. Good call spending that XP. That's all I'll say. Korax, I believe you are the only one left to go.
Yeah. Mike, these are slavers. Do they have chains and shackles of any description?
Do they have that? Sure. You know what? Why not?
I can't imagine this is too much effort for Korax to walk over and pick up a shackle and just push it through the bars to Antares. That's all
It's
he wants
not.
to
Yeah,
do.
no, it wouldn't be too much effort at all. Yeah, and in fact, yeah, I would say you can easily do that, right? A good like foot long shackle.
Yep, he's pushing that through in the hopes that she can use that to lock him to the bars.
Okay, yeah. So you are tossed a shackle, Antares. I will say this: you would know that to use this, you would have to let go of your pseudo garrote here. I'm also going to put a timer on the cart because you are in it. In 2 rounds, you will begin to take fire damage.
Including this round?
You've already acted this round, so next round and the next round on that third one, you will take damage.
Okay.
So you have 2 rounds to get out of the cart. Or take some damage, whatever one you want. So yeah, this is kind of tossed to you. You know that you have to let go of this garrote to do anything with it. Are you still chanting, Korax?
If possible, yes.
Yeah, I don't see why not. That's fine. Yes, you do that. You chant. You continue your prayers to the old gods. He continues to not be able to hit you, especially since he dropped his whip. You see him like take the writ and begin to like. It's very hard to roll with one hand. You see him like do his best to roll this thing up and sort of start jamming it back into the tube. Korax, this causes you mental anguish as you see him just crumbling this page into a tube. But he crumbles it in there and grabs the other side of this thing and is now fully pulling it forward again against Antares. That is his action because he still cannot attack you. Your turn.
Mike,
Yes.
can Korax take that tube off of his belt?
Ooh, you do have a knife. You could. I don't see why not. There's also a whip on the ground.
What's Korax going to do with the whip?
What's Korax going to do with the tube? I don't know, man.
It's got magical paper in it.
That whip did make a nimbus appear or flash brightly every time he hit someone with it, so you did
That's
see
true.
that.
Korax wouldn't. I don't think you'd use a whip though. It's magical paper. Korax is going to go for the tube of paper on his side and
Okay.
try and rip that away from him.
Yeah, I think if you do I want to
I'm assuming that's going to drop his chance as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I think that takes too much concentration for you to. You can't stealthily do that and also scream to the heavens, right? So you can do one or the other. You can continue praying, or you can get that tube.
He's going for the tube.
All right. So you employ your dagger. You cut that thing out of there. You grab this tube, and because of my comedic value in this, Mina sees you, who already thinks you're shady. He sees you stop the assistance you were giving, whatever the prayers were worth. He's not entirely sure, but he sees you cut this thing from the belt quietly and take it for yourself. That's not a GM intrusion. That's just a Mike intrusion. That is your action, Mina.
When he takes it, Mike, he's going to fling it, the tube, and just throw it onto the floor. Get it a distance enough away from us that he can't easily get it.
Okay. Are you trying to throw it in a specific direction, perhaps inside the inn or anywhere?
Towards the inn.
Okay. Roll me a speed difficulty 4.
Difficulty 4.
Okay. Man, I can't. I don't know what minor effect you could have on this. You throw this thing, and it perfectly goes into the door of the inn and sort of spirals into the floor here. If you can think of a minor effect for that, you can have it, but I don't know what the hell it would be.
It slides into the corner of the room where he normally sits.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. So it skitters across the floor exactly where you want it to go, as if divine providence. That is your turn. Mina, are you continuing the shield bash?
Yeah, Mina's continually trying to push him in there, cursing Korax with every grunt and groan.
Perfect. So you don't have to roll for that. It just does it. And Terez, you have an option. Let go. Grab the shackle. Continue.
Shackling means I still have to attack him, right? Like I still have to get him, right? Like grapple him, essentially.
No. It's a foot long shackle, as I said. You could, in theory, actually, I am going to make you do something for this. Despite what I said about the 2 turns, you can take the shackle it to the bar, drop down, and shackle it to his ankle. However, dropping down that far will put you in fire.
Yeah, I don't know if she has the wherewithal to do that.
Yeah, because his arms are in front of him, and it's too big for its neck. So the only place it would fit would be an ankle.
Oh no, I have no idea. Hi. Jesus. Ooh. I don't think she would drop the whip.
Okay. So do you want to continue pulling on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Difficulty 8
I can't succeed.
Yeah. So difficulty 8 with an asset. You pull with all of your strength you could possibly get towards that, and you are unable to make headway with that.
Yeah.
Korax, you see this. That the plan you envisioned in your head is not going through, despite your immense communication of here. Didn't go quite as well as you thought. That is Antares' turn. That is Mina's turn. Seydlitz, you have 4 more bottles of spirits. What do you want to do?
Do I see her just standing in the cart behind there?
I mean,
I'm not just standing there.
She is forcibly trying to choke this guy with all of her strength.
Yeah.
Is it actually having any effect?
As far as you can see, he has both of his hands on the whip that she's using, and he is forcing it forward. So
and my arms are like.
Yeah. So the effect is both of his hands are occupied.
Well, with all the alcohol that's now below him, I'm gonna take a bottle, stuff a rag in it, and light it.
Okay. And throw it where?
Right at his feet.
Okay. Roll me a difficulty. Was it 5? Difficulty 5. Speed thing. Speed check.
All the effort today. have no luck.
Uh,
The dice have been very mean to me.
GM intrusion.
Oh, boy.
Seydlitz, you can take 1 XP and give 1 to a friend here, or you can spend an XP and tell me to shove it. The GM intrusion is that you do in fact throw this thing, because you do. You failed to hit your mark, but you'd still throw it. The GM intrusion is that you throw it, it lands exactly where you want it to do, but it explodes. Because there are 2 bottles of spirits and fumes, and you just threw a Molotov cocktail. Which means it will hit him, it will hit Mina, and it will hit Corex.
Me?
Nope, you're higher.
Okay.
And you're already in fire. So I'm not going to put you double in fire. So GM intrusion, you can say yes, take the XP, give 1 to someone else, and your friends get lit on fire. Or you can say no, and no one gets lit on fire, and you miss your target.
Kaboom.
All right. So you take 1 XP, give 1 to whoever you want. Let's see. Improvised weapon, fire, let's say 4. This guy is going to take 4 damage, ignoring armor. And Corax and Mina, you are also going to take 4 damage, ignoring armor. It will
Speed
be
of Mina.
It will be XP to Mina. Okay. It will be might damage if you have might. If not, reduce your next pool down. So 4 on fire damage as you are on fire. This guy will take some as well. And he is fully on fire. Yes, cool. I will say you are on fire of the alcoholic kind. You will need to do something to get that fire to stop burning you, much like the whip on Mina's face earlier. And Teres, that is 1 round down of you not being on fire. He can move. He grabs with both hands this pseudo garrote and rips it forward. So he rips this thing forward and sort of throws it to the ground, away from Antares' clutches. In a strange turn of events, Mina, you see him turn away from you, and he reaches through the bars and is grabbing for Antares. I need you to make me... it's going to be a difficulty. Yeah, you can't dodge. You're so incapacitated. I'm sorry. And you threatened them and you said, never take me alive. So this just happens because you cannot roll out of this. He
didn't hear me say that.
He reaches through the bars. I heard you, and I play all the NPCs. He reaches through the bars, and you see him grab on like one of the tatters of your like whatever you're wearing, and he just smashes you against the bars. You're unconscious for sure, I think. Oh, yeah, you are just unconscious. Actually, there is no unconscious. You just die. There's no unconscious in cyber systems. I will say this. For the safety of a new character, you're unconscious, but you're in fire. So he takes you and slams you against the bars. You take 8 points of damage, which is the rest of your pools, and you slump to the ground in fire. You guys see this new person who was aiding you in combat slump into the fire, and know that if not rescued, she will burn to death, if not already.
So am I zeroing out all my pools?
You are at 0. Effectively, you are unconscious this round. I won't outright kill you because it's your first episode, but next time, don't threaten the NPCs. Well, make better characters. Jeez.
You helped me plan this.
So that happens. That's his turn. Corax, Mina, Seydlitz, what do you guys want to do? Yeah.
Mike,
Yes.
the nimbus that was above his head.
Yes.
Have we seen that go out?
You have not.
We have not.
Yeah, that's what that roll was for earlier that you botched about learning what that paper did.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's still there. He's still big boy.
Mina would move to get Antares out of the fire if he can reach through the bars or get around and pull her to safety.
Yeah, you can easily so you could reach the bars and sort of like shove her towards the back. It would be
Yeah.
easier for you to like move around and go get her out of the back. So whichever one you'd like to do, you can do either one.
He would probably want to. He'd probably think that just throwing her won't get her out completely.
Yes.
So he'd need to get her out.
Yeah.
So he'll go around the back.
Okay, so I'm not going to make you roll for that. You can easily disengage from this guy, run around the back, scoop her up, and remove her from the fire without taking any damage yourself, though the flames do seem to lick higher. That is your action. Korax, Seydlitz. Actually, Mina, do you do anything also? I'll let you do it as part of your action. Do you do anything to remove the fire from yourself?
I'm sure, being a tailor, he knows the easiest way to rip pants off. So he just rips those pants
Perfect.
off and throws them.
I'll take that. Yeah, so you just, the bottom, like those shorts that had the pants that had the zipper and become shorts, you just rip the lower half of your pants off and are now very fashionable jorts as you rescue Antares. Korax, you are also on fire. Seydlitz, you are the cause of most of the fire, all of the fire. What would you two like to do?
What of Korax's is on fire? Is his cloak on fire, or is this?
You were, I would say, you weren't crouched down. Were you crouched down when he threw the bottle?
No, I think he was standing because he'd passed the shackles through to Antares.
Okay. Yeah. Then your pants area, like knees down.
He's gonna wrap his cloak around to try and smother it.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, you can do that.
Hunky hunkers down and picks up the guy's whip. And if he can, he's going to take a few steps back and try and crack him with it.
Interesting.
A knife's not going to do anything to Big Bad Boy. He hopes a whip's going to at least distract him.
Scare him away. Like he doesn't know you can't hit him or whatever. You
know? Okay, cool. Are you spending everything you got?
I don't think I've got anything to spend, Mike.
Okay. It is a difficulty 8.
Still a difficulty 8. Okay.
Yeah, it's a difficulty 8. You have one unknown asset. You can spend whatever effort you might have, if you have any, for might.
No, that's not a good idea. And with a 7, that's not.
I mean, you have might to spend. You could spend 3 might to rock that.
Oh, go on then.
Okay, so 1 effort, 1 asset still means you need to roll an 18 or better. Unless someone who hasn't gone yet might have a way to assist you in this attack.
Are you asking me for assistance?
I mean, you see this tiny bookish boy wielding a fucking whip, which you've never seen him pick up a weapon at all except to give it to someone else. So you.
Yeah, I'll help him.
What do you do to help him? How do you help him?
That's the issue. He's trying to pick up a whip. Maybe I'll just yell instructions on how to use it at him.
Okay, all right. I'll buy that. I'll buy some fatherly advice. All right. So I'll give you a second asset.
2 assets.
Yep.
All right.
That is your maximum amount of assets.
Take that, Mike.
I will take it. I will take that.
Fatherly advice for the win.
Okay, how do I want to roll this? Because this is roll roll another attack intelligence based. This will also be a difficulty 8. You can apply whatever you want to it. Like whatever you have to apply to this. So effort.
Sure.
I don't know that you have. So you'll get one miscellaneous asset, one unknown asset, and then if you spend effort.
So it's a difficulty 8.
Yep.
Effort 1. Asset 1.
Yep. And then just reduce your intelligence pool down.
Nope.
Okay. If
Can I
you'd
give
like,
him one of my XP for
you
that?
cannot. But I think he has enough of.
I have loads of XP. I actually
okay.
have 5 XP.
Yeah. So if you'd like to spend XP,
Yeah,
Corax, you
he's the
can.
one closest to leveling out of all of us.
Yeah, go on then. Let's
Okay.
Let's spend 1. So I can't use the effort again, correct?
You can. It's all part of the roll.
Difficulty 8. Effort 1. Asset 1. Nope, still fail.
Okay. So you crack this whip. It definitely hits him. You see it bite into the leather portion of his armor, and you see him as it strikes through him. This deals 4 points of damage to him.
Plus the 1 from the
Plus the
special
1,
effect?
so 5 points of damage to him, minus his armor. So that rips into him, and you see... that's it. You don't see anything else because you failed the intelligence roll. So yeah, it rips into him and causes damage, and you have his whip. He's not happy about it, and he's free of anything. It's just you and him, literally, because everyone else is far away from you.
He has no weapons. That's fine.
That's true. Seydlitz, that was your turn. Was giving assistance. Sorry about that. And it is the slave master's turn. What is he going to do to you? Who knows?
He wants to be friends, right?
Is he still on fire?
He is on fire. Good call. He takes 4 points of fire damage. 2, 3, 4. Okay. He's on fire, and he is. It doesn't seem to be putting it out. He does. Walk over to Corax very menacingly. Corax, I need you to make me difficulty 8 speed defense.
Speed defense.
Yeah.
So with resonance field, Mike, which is still going, it says I can make intelligence ones in place of any other defense rolls.
There you go.
I'm trained in intelligence defense rolls as well.
Good call.
So no bonuses on that. Difficulty 8.
Difficulty 8.
So I get.
So you would need to succeed. You would need to use resonance field, and you would need to spend effort.
And I also still have the protection up.
Does that work for you or just for other people?
For myself and anyone within immediate radius.
Okay, so I will count the protection as an asset. So you technically would not need to spend effort to beat the minimum threshold. You still need to roll an 18.
And then it was 2 assets.
It was 1 asset for the your bubble.
Yeah.
If you roll intelligence defense because you're trained in it, that will automatically calculate the resonance field.
Perfect.
And then if you spend effort, you can do that too if you want.
Here's hoping.
That's rough. Would you like to spend an XP?
Not really.
Come on.
It's okay. You don't have to.
Yeah, but it's so close. I needed to get to 4. Yeah, let's re-roll that.
Okay.
This system needs a reroll button.
I think there is one somewhere. I just forget where the hell it is.
That didn't apply the bonus for intelligence trained.
It didn't roll. Let me see. Is your intelligence defense tasks trained? Did you...
Oh, that's set to untrained for some reason.
That's why. So even still, that would have made the target number a 15, and you rolled a 6.
Yeah, just changing that so that it rolls correctly on this reroll. So no bonuses.
Oh, you rolled
Difficulty
1, rather. Sorry.
8. Yeah, one's a 1.
Yeah.
Effort was 1, and asset is 1. I'll take that.
Nice.
And don't forget he takes 4 points of damage as well because resonance field.
What does the resonance field do for 4 damage again? Remind me.
If I get a major effect on a
Right.
defensive task, he takes 4 points of damage.
Yeah. Ignoring armor, I would assume.
It's an intelligence-based thing, so potentially.
Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yikes. Okay. What would you like the major effect to be? All right. So here's what happens. He trudges towards you, and you see him reach out to grab you. That's why it was a speed attack. He was going to grab you, and you saw him like grab you from a position that would be like he moves low to grab you as if he was going to lift you up. So you see that coming, and you're able to like intelligently move out of the way of him just scooping you up like a child. What would you like your major effect to be?
So the only major effect I can think of is probably maybe not major enough, but Seydlitz threw a bunch of liquid at his feet.
He did.
I would like him to slip on what was there, or on the broken glass bottles as he comes down and crouches low enough that he slips on that and loses his footing as he tries to grab for Korax.
Okay. Luck is on your side today. So yeah, I will say a major effect. Yeah, he goes to scoop and grab you, and the way that you like maneuver out of the way causes him to take a second step, and the second step kicks glass, and it's just enough to cause him to like topple to the side. And he is prone in fire. Your luck, dude, today.
It's been insane.
It's been nuts. That is his turn. It is your turns collectively. Antares, you are still unconscious. Unfortunately, that's your whole turn. Mina, you are not on fire. Antares is not on fire. Korax is not on fire. Seydlitz, you have plenty of fire.
Mina will go over and just attempt to stab him as hard as he can.
Okay, +1 asset for him being prone, and then whatever else you can throw at him. If anyone would like to, before Norm rolls, if anyone would like to somehow provide help, it would gain him 1 additional asset.
So close.
I will say again, if anyone would like to provide help, I will retroactively count that.
You didn't spend effort then, no?
I don't think he can.
Have anything to spend.
He's out of might. So if someone would provide that would give up their turn to provide assistance, you can let me know how you would do that. That would drop his difficulty down to an 18, and that would make Norm's attack hit.
Can my burnt unconscious body fuel him a little bit?
You can.
It cannot. It cannot. I appreciate.
Yeah, I don't think you're unconscious.
Yeah, I appreciate the effort there. However, no. Korax, you are the closest.
I think Korax taunts him as he hits the ground. So as he hits the ground and Mina comes up to start and stab him, Korax sort of kneels down slightly and just says, "Your gods don't help you here." Just to anger him enough that he lets his guard down for Mina to get that stab in.
Okay, I will say this. You do that, and he lurches towards you, and that provides like a back shot from Mina. So Mina, I will count that 19. Your difficulty would have been an 18. That would give you... Shit. Is that the damage with the +1 already calculated in there?
Yeah, that's got the +1 for the thrust in there as well.
But you also got a 19 so you got an additional +1 damage. So
don't get bonuses when you're impaired, do you?
I don't see why you wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a 19 or a 20. You usually get those things. At least that's how I play. I've never heard that before. Okay. So I will say 8 damage is a good chunk minus his armor. Let's see here. That would be 1. You sink your spear into him. I don't know if it's misplaced teen angst and aggression. I don't know what it is, but he lunges to the side to like throttle Korax, and you just like right to like his scapula. That's what it is. Your shoulder blade, you like right between like spine and shoulder blade, your sinks in, like you hit either bone or the ground. You're not entirely sure what it is, but you like spearfish this guy, kind of pinning him there. And he like recoils from Korax, and even the recoiling causes like his back muscles to engage, and he just bellows out this scream as you have him pinned to the ground. Still on fire. Seydlitz, what do you want to do?
I'm going to run over the now unconscious Antares, pull out weird device Galvin gave us, saying, "Oh, use like it might save someone's life or something." And I'm going to stick it to her, like how I saw Korax put it on his chest.
Yeah. So you jam this thing onto her chest, and you see that like as you're close and looking at it now. So you place the thing on her chest, and you see it inject into like her sternum. And you see it just sort of sit there for a second, and then the vial in the center of it drains. You don't see where it goes, but you see the vial drain. Let's see here. Antares, roll me a d10.
Seydlitz has no idea what this does. He just was told use it in case of emergency.
That is in case of emergency. You have 5 points of recovery to place in whatever pools you like.
Oh, sweet. I might do one in each at least.
And you should be back up.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that is your turn is recovering. But so he stabs this thing into you. You wake up and you feel searing pain in your chest. And you see this metal like a brooch basically, but it's probably like 3 inches by 3 inches. It's stuck into your chest with an empty glass vial in the center of it. That is Seydlitz's turn. Your turn, Korax. You taunted Mina. You stabbed that guy in the body. He is going to try to get up.
He takes fire damage.
He does take fire damage.
Freaking health does he have? Jeez.
25 and 3 armor is what he has. He was a level 6, and you pissed him off, and the GM intrusion that I used as a corruption bar gives him 2 divine shifts, which makes him act as if he is 2 levels higher for the remainder of the day. So that's how he went from 6s to 8s. He takes fire damage. How do I want to do this?
By killing him.
Oh, he dies. He only has 2 hit points left. He takes 4 fire damage and ignores armor. He's dead. You guys have won. However, this was a boss fight. He reels back over, again, bellowing out that thing, trying to, like, reach back to, like, knock the spear out of him. And in doing so, you see, like, the spear, like, not bends, but, like, it comes out from whatever it was stuck in, and is a little bit looser. And he rolls to try to, like, grab at you, Mina. But it's, like, a pitiful grab. Like, it's one of those, like, last-ditch things. And you, like, are just able to, like, boot him off to the side. And as he kind of rolls back over, back towards Korax, like, almost on his stomach, he stops moving. You're not entirely sure what happens, but he's stopped moving. And then he kind of slumps in, like the muscles holding him up slump. And Korax and Mina, who are close to him, that enhancement in size you see diminish. And you both see, actually all of you who are looking at him, see the nimbus gone from atop his head. You all hear a scream and several gasps coming from inside the inn. And you see like a purple flash in the door and windows, those of you who look back to see where these screams come from. And out of whatever open crevice there is, if there are any open windows or any open doors, much like smoke, you see this purple mist just ooze out and up out of the windows and doors and sort of coalesce and move. Korax, you're good with navigation, I believe, correct? Or at least Seydlitz is. Seydlitz is good with navigation. Seydlitz, you know that this smoke, whatever this purple haze is headed directly in the direction of Corso. That's what you guys get. That's it.
Okay, my Zoom.
That's okay. We can still hear you, I think.
Is screwing up.
That was the last corruption bar that I had.
Ooh.
Just when we thought we'd won.
All right. So
Mina will go over to Antares and check that she's okay.
She's up.
And thank her
Barely.
for her help.
She kind of just like will spit blood, and she's rolled. She's kind of rolled onto like her hands and knees, like she's like on her elbows, just like kind of like sucking air into her lungs and just like trying to fight through like the pain that she's feeling.
Yeah.
Is he
am
dead?
I back?
You are back.
All right. What did you need me to do? I lost you entirely because of Zoom.
I didn't need you to do anything. You see that this smoke that comes out, this purple smoke that comes out of the building, is directly headed back towards Corso. I think we lost him again. That's all right. You guys
Okay.
can go. Oh, there we go. He's back.
Well, yeah, Mina will say, I think he's dead.
And she'll just like nod and like just spit blood out. This bastard.
Oh, we should get everyone inside. Get you rested up.
They won't be missed. Or sorry, they won't be missed. We won't have a lot of time.
Oh, yeah, we won't miss them, but I think the dragon will. But we can't go anywhere the way we are. Let's head into the tavern. Corso, Corax, make yourself useful. Gather up anything that we can salvage from them.
Korax is going to look down to the dead guy. Mike, is there a typical ritual that would allow someone to head? I think it's soul rest. Head towards soul rest. Knowing that soul rest is not a great place anymore.
You're muted.
You're muted, Mike.
It's not a great place anymore.
Is there a ritual that Korax could perform with this gentleman to make sure his soul goes to soul rest? Or that would expect it to go towards soul rest? Like coins on the eyes or anything like that?
Yes. I will say yes. There is, and you know it. What I am pondering here is a GM intrusion. Because today's been that kind of day, guys, and you need the XP. So Korax, GM intrusion. You know the ritual. You can perform the ritual. That's absolutely fine. The GM intrusion, you are knowingly, willfully sending that soul to hell, essentially. Soul rest is no longer just the place that souls rest. It has become a corrupt, vile place. You're aware of that. You studied religion. You are intentionally damning this man. Even though he wasn't a good person, that is still an evil act. The intrusion is that act will be known. By whom? You're not entirely sure. You take 1 point in Renegade.
1 point in who?
You know Mass Effect with Renegade versus Paragon? You take 1 point in Renegade.
Oh, you been playing the remake, Mike?
No, I'm not. I just am a nerd.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happens.
Okay, so
Korax leans down. He ignores Mina's request to start salvaging things, and he kneels down at this gentleman lying on the floor and starts to perform a ritual to ensure that, at least under the old gods, his soul would be ferried off to soul rest, in the hopes that he gets killed by the Hellmaw.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. You do that. You get 1 XP for yourself and 1 to give to someone else.
Can Antares, like, she's like limping her way over.
Mm-hmm.
Can she like take a sword and hack this guy's head off?
You could. Oh, man. I'm not even going to GM intrude. That is an obvious evil act. Anyone around you who will see that will think such. You can do that, but you know that you are in a provincial town, a la Beauty and the Beast here, and anyone who sees that will know. That will be like, oh fuck, that's a scary person.
Okay, she won't. Okay, she's not going to do it, but she's going to go over to him, and she has the sword in her hand, and like her arm is like shaking, and she might swing, but she's gonna purposely miss.
Okay, so you do that swing, and it like sticks the blade into the ground like near him. Okay, yeah. So anyone around sees that, especially your group, but it's it's just a frustrated, angry situation. Okay, you do that. Corax, you do that. Mina, Seydlitz, what are you guys doing?
So Mina will head back to the inn and go inside, completely having forgotten that his nimbus is, blazing away above his head.
Yeah.
And check on the baby and Stephanie.
Okay.
Same. I'm gonna follow him.
Okay, you guys do that. They have retreated to a room with Dreschen. The inn is in chaos, right? Several people have taken refuge here, apart from the patrons that were already here. It's like 1 or 2 of the people who were enslaved are also here. You make your way to the room. You see that they are you know what room they were in, so that's the room you assume to go to. It does take like a shoulder into the door because they have it like barricaded, but you can easily toss a shoulder into that door and move like the bed they had there, and you see the 2 of them are huddled in a corner like protectively with the baby. They seem unharmed as far as they could be.
The danger's over. We're safe for now, but we might not be safe for long.
Dreschen stands and sort of like brushes himself off and like extends a hand to her to help her rise. He looks to you and he says, we can never repay you for what you've done here. And she stumbles towards you like in like that aftershock kind of thing with the baby in hand, and she just brings herself to you, like the baby between you, and she throws her other arm around you, and you can just feel like warm tears as she is overcome with whatever the fuck just happened, and the fact that you guys have rescued her another time, essentially, and her baby. And just tears stream down. Seydlitz, you are in the hallway, and you can see this happening.
I'm gonna step in. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to interject here. That purple smoke, whatever it was, when he died, flew off towards Corso, which means whoever sent them may soon know that whatever their slaving party failed, and they may come.
Yeah, I think we need to speak to Mayor McMushroom about getting out of here.
Is that what you were calling him?
I like that.
It isn't a bad nickname
not good
for
with
Galvin.
Okay.
Mina's not
It isn't
good
a
with
bad
names.
nickname for Galvin. But
Corax and Antares, what are you guys doing while they're inside? Or did you follow them in?
Well, she's gonna wait for Corax. I don't know if I assume she would know what he's doing.
I would not assume that. Corax is you would know what he's doing is like something that adherents do. You don't know what he's doing, but you know that praying to the old gods like he has been the entirety of combat, and what he presumably is doing right now, he is behaving like an adherent praying to the old gods, which you know is blasphemy and basically treason here in the Nightlands. So that's what you know. But what specifically he's doing, you have no idea.
Yeah, so she would just kind of stand off from him, and she'd be kind of like half turned away from him, like looking at him. And she's just gonna say in kind of like a cold voice, like, "You can't stay here." She's gonna know. And someone will come.
Once Korax is finished, and hearing Antares say that, he stands sort of cold, super cold, I mean, from the chilled kid he normally is. And just turns to her and hands her the whip that he took from him and says, "This was his whip. And his master, the dragon, will send more."
She takes the whip.
Okay. Are you headed inside, Korax and Antares?
I think Korax is going to go to Galvin's house.
Okay.
Because he didn't help us. Frick.
He didn't say he was going to. He hired you for help.
He helped me technically.
Yeah, he gave you all items that you only one of you used. He never said he was going to help you. He said what aid I can offer is in this box. So Antares, where do you go, or do we just cut to you standing in this courtyard of death?
Yeah, she's not going to go inside, that's for sure.
Okay.
I think she's going to find she's still pretty fucked up.
Okay.
She only has 5 hit points, so.
Yeah. So we see Korax silently walk off in the direction of Galvin's house. We see Mina and Seydlitz are passing the knowledge that the dragon will know what just happened. And we end on, we transition the scene on Antares sitting down on like a rock right off to the side, just breathing fresh air of a free person. And the camera cuts. It traverses the terrain of the Nightlands. It passes from the town of Laredo, where you guys are now. It passes over hill and dale, through a lake, through a large forest, over the mountains of the Krakens, through the moors of the Ghost Moor, through the Lost Valley, and deep past the Verge, where we know Soul Rest is. In Soul Rest, we see arguably a woman. She sits atop a throne. This throne has been desecrated. There are skulls and bones, and it is everything befitting an evil queen. She is like malformed, long claws that drip with ichor on each one of her fingers. A protruding jaw with like sharp dagger-like teeth kind of stick out from this thing. Long tendril-like hair as she sits on this throne. You can see this large chain with like massive links acting as her belt. And you see beside her, almost higher than the throne itself, the throne being on a pedestal, on a dais, is this massive wolf dog-like creature that is known as the Hellmaw. It sits there quietly as if beside its master. And she sits at her throne, and at the end of this long row of 20-something stairs down this dais kneels the soul of the slave master. And she leans back in her chair and says, "Interesting. They've made it farther than I have expected. Thank you for this information." And she reaches down towards him and grabs at nothing, and you see his soul form twist and malform, and claws extend, jowl, long hair, and he becomes what is known as a Rakshasa. And that is where we end this episode. You have pissed off the King of Nod, the Dragon of Corso, and the Rakshasa Queen. Well
Everything
done,
comes in threes.
team.
I
Well
gave her a
done.
break.
Yeah.
So we did a little bit. We
we-
ran a little bit long this episode, but I think that was well deserved after several evenings of quiet contemplation and role play. You guys needed to get your ass kicked, and I think we did it.
Rude.
So I actually counted the amount of natural ones we.
How was it? 25? Was it so many of them?
We rolled a total of 10 natural ones with 11 GM intrusions resulting from ones and twos.
Perfect. Love
Wow.
that. 10 out of 10.
Mike had a good day.
That's why we went overtime.
Hey, listen, I only injected my own like 3 times, and there were 3 corruption bars, so that's on you guys. And at least one of the corruption bars was literally on you guys. So that's your own fault. So let's go around, do our introductions, get the hell out of here.
We
so
can
do
blame.
our
We
after
can
show.
collectively blame Necro for that one.
Necro and G both donated.
Good.
So let's go around, do our outros, get out of here, do our after show, and enjoy the rest of our evenings. We'll start with Chris. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
I'm Chris, aka Necro. You can only find me in the Discord. I ain't doing anything on the internet at all.
Perfect. G, what about you?
G, Lightning Invoker. You find me here modding and Nomadics modding for Gnome Brew and in the Discord.
Hell yeah. Norm, what about you? Where can we find you?
I'm Norm or Snow Dogs. You can just find me in the Discord or Chasing Hobbits.
Perfect. And Matt, last but not least, where can we find you and what are you up to?
I'm Matt. You can find me here or on the Discord, or if you have any plans, you'll find me probably scrolling through the pages of a naval archive at any point.
There you go. All right. That is it for us, patrons. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching the show, all the corruption bars, all that fun stuff. If you guys like what we do here and you want to support the channel, you can do so by clicking down on that Patreon link in the description below, joining us over there for all kinds of behind-the-scenes exclusives, including our after shows. While you're down there, click on that Discord link, join us, be a part of the community and a part of the conversation. But for now, we will see you next month for more Patreon campaign called The Rise, where we see the aftermath of this battle and what exactly that smoke might have been. So, from all of us to you guys, bye-bye.